So, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the Unite podcast. On this episode, we're going to talk a lot about community and stuff. I am cosplaying as the Snorlax skin. As you can see in the bottom left there, it's a pretty cool one. It's got the inner tube and everything. We got some great guests on tonight. I guess in the beginning, we can just go back to, what we did last time, introductions. So, my name is MIT Epona or Ross, whatever you want to say. I'm from the Southeast US, and I played a lot of Eldegoss in the Japan stress test. Played Dota, Pokemon Go, and 64 stuff. It's a little bit about me. We're gonna switch the scene here. And one sec, because there we go. If you guys just want to introduce yourself alphabetically.
Me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm from the Midwest. I'm Lumalii, and I never played this game at all. But I like Pokemon.
Lunchbox.
All right, I'm Lunchbox. Yep, most people call me Lunchbox or Lunch. I'm the one of the operational managers for Unite Stadium. Um, Generally, it's one of the websites and Discords that's going. We aim to be like the hub for everything Pokemon Unite related, or generally everything Pokemon related. One of the things I'd like to point out is we do have a database on our site for Unite, and we are planning on hosting some of the earliest tournaments. Once the game gets released on Switch, even. If you want like my resume, I guess, for where I come from gaming, I've been playing MOBAs for about like 8 years. Mainly League, been tried a bunch of them, Smite, Strife, Dota, all that sort of stuff. Competitive like scenes, I come from like playing Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Been to plenty of like those long 8-hour Grand Prix trials and stuff like that. Um, Also recently, like as of recent, the most like gaming I've really been paying attention to is Pokemon Go. Um, Honestly, wasted the past 2 years of my life playing that game.
He's very big on the
Uh,
battles.
yeah, the PvP aspect of Pokemon Go, and like it's deeper than most people think. It takes a lot of effort to get into, but basically just the amount of work that they've done with like the company Niantic has done to try and fix any issues with their combat system have been irrelevant, and they generally don't even put fixes out very often. So I'm essentially going to be quitting that for Unite.
Well, great. That's awesome. Okay, next.
Okay, so I think I'll go next. My name is Mewleon, but you can call me Josh. I am the current owner of the Our Pokemon Unite Discord. I also currently run the Our Pokemon Masters Discord as well, but I think I'm gonna spend more time prioritizing Pokemon Unite, seeing the potential the game has become. Um, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I've been playing since the Hard Gold Soul Silver era. I've been playing every game since then, and Unite is going to be a new challenge for me, both on community and game wise, because I have never played a MOBA before, admittedly. But I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool.
All right, I guess I'm last. I'm Technovoid. I'm a content creator on YouTube and Twitch. I do a lot of different kinds of content. I don't really stick to one particular thing. A lot of my recent success has been due to Hollow Knight, which is a Metroidvania, although I do run a doubles draft on Pokemon Showdown. Beyond that, my MOBA experience is mainly limited to League of Legends. I started playing in Season 5 casually, and I've sort of been, playing casually since then on and off. But other than that, I am not a competitive player.
Cool. Yeah, you don't have to be competitive, Unranked is all good for a lot of people. People like whatever they want to play. It's, that's kind of what Nintendo does, right? They got games that have competitive aspects, but at the end of the day, if you just want to, play just a normal game, you can. So, we're here because there is a community for this game. There is one now. There has been for a while, ever since the game came out, even though it might have been small or whatnot. There's always been a community, and that's great. And just kind of want to pick your brain, Josh, on, the very beginning. Maybe we could make this somewhat of a documentary, but obviously not that long. But when the game came out, what was going on with people? How are people reacting to this? Because obviously, out of everyone here, you're the most senior and historic person. So, what kind of things were going on when the game came out? Who kind of stepped
So,
forward and what happened?
so actually, the Discord was founded way before the first beta test came out. It actually was created when the Unite trailer came out a long time ago, back in mid June 2020, I believe. There was a lot of criticism behind it, just because like it had its own separate video following the Pokemon Direct the day before, or a couple of days before, actually. And people thought it was going to be Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But instead, they didn't get that, and he started protesting the game.
And
And after, yeah, sorry.
do you think that's still a thing today, where they still got a lot of hate from that, or do you think people have finally moved on and that's kind of calmed down?
Okay. So ever since the stress test build, public opinion has turned a complete 180. So it was completely negative to completely positive, and I don't know if it's because the Gen 4 remakes were finally announced like later that year, along with Arceus Legends, or if it's because the game is actually good, based on the beta footage we got from the Chinese beta, the Canadian beta, and now the stress test build back a couple of weeks ago.
Cool. So things are looking nice. There's not a mound of pitchfork people coming at us if we're gonna play the game, right?
No, I don't
Cool.
think so. Based
Uh,
on based on watching Discord for the past few months, again, public opinion has turned a complete 180. Everybody seems to be excited for it, as you can see, and people
mm-hmm.
posting fake countdowns, which we could talk about later.
Yeah, if you
But
want
yeah,
to.
I'm completely confident of the public reception that this game is going to get.
Cool. We talked a little bit about this on the last episode, but this is, of course, just a Switch release. Do you see anything, happening between this release and the later September mobile release? Do you think anything, might happen there?
Uh, so in my opinion, based on what we have so far, they are going to release characters into the hold on, what was I going to say? To the lineup, such as Blastoise and Gardevoir and an unknown character. I think they're still going to get updates, and then between the mobile will eventually will catch up once the mobile version is released. So I think both Switch and mobile will be on the same level, but Switch will still update between then and now, since it is crossplay after all.
Okay. Yeah, the crossplay part is pretty cool. I know a lot of people will like that because, sometimes people just have a Switch in a family, but everyone else has a phone and they want to play together. That was one of the big things about, Fortnite, right? It was one of the first, crazy massive online games just because people didn't really, expect that to happen. So I kind of see that happening for this game because, Pokemon is kind of a family thing, right? If one of the brothers is doing stuff with Pokemon, maybe the younger brother is like, yeah, this Pokemon's pretty cool, and they just kind of get into different games with them.
If I can make a point though about the popularity of it, upon release, I imagine it might be like yeah, like Mewleon saying, but when it comes to like Timmy Studios, what happened with uh like Arena of Valor, for instance, is they ported it to the Switch. I think like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, and it's like within 6 months they basically stopped updating it because they didn't have the popularity on the Switch versus having the popularity on the actual mobile game. And that's like their original MOBA that they not their original MOBA, but one of the few that they worked on originally, and then ported over. Like it's the only one they ported over to the Switch.
So I think one of the big problems that Arena of Valor had was that the Switch port is actually different than the game. It has less features because of there's less buttons on Joy Cons and things like that. You also can't do crossplay. I found that out because I wanted to play with my brother and we just couldn't.
Okay.
Which I think limited
I
it.
didn't know about the cross. I had assumed that there was crossplay on it. And from what I've played both of them, I haven't seen what do you mean by less features exactly?
So it seemed like the characters got like two spells to use or something, but on the Switch it only had one. Um,
No, they had the same amount when I played it.
oh, Well, I don't know what happened to me then. Maybe I just messed up. Maybe I'm a noob. I don't know.
I'd like to make a point here as well, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I like Mewleon. I've been following this, Pokemon Unite since its original announcement, and I'm totally completely agree that when it was announced, there was a lot of disdain for it because it was not Gen 4 remakes. However, I would not entirely say there's been a total 180. I think there's been a huge 180 within the sort of MOBA um, community, that a lot of people who were originally disliking it for that reason are now on board. But just as a matter of fact, there are still a lot of people who just treat MOBAs in general with disdain because of the communities other MOBAs form. So I still think there is a portion of the Pokemon community that is still not happy with this release, regardless of the new information that's come out.
Yeah, actually, what I was going to say was another disdain is well, I don't want to get into the political side of things, but it's the developers themselves.
Of
They
course,
had
Tencent, yeah.
yeah, they've had allegations of doing like spying and such, but I don't think that'll be a problem considering how the Pokemon Company has full oversight over this game, and they do not want to ruin their reputation with such a company like them. So I'm
Of
pretty sure
course.
they'll keep in their own lane, or well, they'll keep Tencent in their own lanes. But so that's what I keep on telling the community. But
Yeah, I know you
I
keep
With
can't
saying
really
that to
change
people
people's
all day.
opinions.
You're like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be great. It seems like you do have a lot of faith in what's going on.
there is a very tricky line to thread with Tencent though, due to just all of their games though.
Can you, I
I mean,
guess, elaborate more on that
I mean,
again?
I mean, Mewleon already got into it. Again, I really don't want to get political, but
Okay, that's fine.
Tencent does have a track record of doing things that are perhaps okay in a Chinese market, but in markets around the world is less acceptable. I'll leave it at that.
One of the things too to add to that as well is it regardless of who's developing or publishing the game, it is still going to be TBC responsible for like the release and the marketing and all of, like they have the final say basically, and not just TPC but TPCI as well. Um, have the final say in basically what's going on with this stuff.
Okay, cool. Lumalii, do you have anything to say about any of this? Are you liking the game? You know, people seem pretty positive about it. It's a good
I
game.
haven't played the game at all yet.
Yeah, but
Actually, I
like,
just watched you play, so but I've played like every single Pokemon game up to Gen 4, so I'd like to play it.
are you scared of MOBAs? Are you
I've
happy to play a
never
MOBA?
hmm, I don't think I've ever actually played a MOBA, to be
Okay.
honest. But
I
I
think
feel
that.
like if I like Pokemon enough that I could like learn it and get into it.
hmm And I do think it's different than traditional ones where you kind of just run down towers and kills, matter. I mean, I guess it's hard to tell if they matter a lot now or not, but it's like this game doesn't necessarily just track, kills. It'll show them on the top, but it's not like that means everything. And there is stat bragging at the very end on the score screen, but during a game, it seems like everyone kind of just has to work together, and it's a little bit of a different environment, maybe.
yeah. So I always make this point within the Discord server that this game reminds me of Brawl Stars, where your objective isn't to kill people or go for a base, it's to collect points. In which case, Brawl Stars would be diamonds, and Pokemon Unite would be Aeon Energy, and you have to claim those in your claim zones. So essentially, you're just like battling. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Like battling isn't essential, but it's still crucial to the game.
Okay, cool. Anyone have anything to add on to, just how new people might think of the game?
Sure, yeah, I can chime in a bit here. I think one of the huge strengths of Pokemon Unite compared to basically every other MOBA is that it has a really low skill floor. It's super easy to get into. The fact that there's fewer skills, fewer things that you need to be paying attention to at all times makes it a lot easier to learn. I can say that I've tried to get many of my friends into League of Legends, and every time I do, I need to create a whole like League 101 course for them that spans several hours explaining the mechanics of the game. Whereas with Unite, I feel a lot more comfortable just sort of throwing them into it and letting them figure it out, which I think is really, really great for garnering more of a community for this game. One thing that I've seen some people say is that the game will have a people assume there will be a lower skill ceiling for the game because it has a lower skill floor, and I just want to say I don't think that's true at all. I don't think the two are correlated. I think there's still a lot of potential for high level and competitive play, even though it's a lot easier to get into than something like Dota.
Yeah, I definitely think the high level is going to be pretty high too. Cause I mean, if you die, at least when I would die once in the game, I felt like it was pretty bad. But that's only because I was looking at it, I was trying to look at it at a super competitive level. Um, so I do think that when it's like a 5v5 competitive environment, it could get pretty ferocious.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely agree. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can agree with that. Like, personally, I know I assume Techno didn't play like as much in the betas and everything, but when I was in the betas or the original Canadian beta, I did manage to make like high up on the leaderboards, and we were playing five stacks. Arguably, there was even times as a random group of five stack, we were trying to snipe like the top of the leaderboard while they were queuing, and I can tell you it is a high level. There's a lot of mistakes to be made and a lot of like um options to be taken, which I know that sounds vague, but that's kind of where it leads to having like the higher skill ceiling. Is it's like in a higher level competitive play, there's a lot of different plays you can make, which um is one of the things that I'd like to say to like encourage not just the like the newer players to MOBAs to play, but even people who play stuff like League, Dota, Heroes of the Storm, and everything. It will be appealing enough to them at a higher level of play.
Yeah, definitely. I know that, I played Dota some years ago for a while. And at some point you just feel like there's so much in the game that whenever I wanted to go back to play it again, I was like I had to read, a school textbook or something. It was ridiculous. And I would kind of play a few times and then I'd say, well, if I am this very competitive person, I either have to go all in or not. Um, and it seemed like there's just so many rules, so many different, types of abilities and everything. There's, stun, slow, disable, mute, silence, whatever. There's like a million other ones too, root. Um, that you have to relearn all these things. But a game like Pokemon Unite, you can just come back whenever you want and say, I have these three abilities, and they either just slow or they stun. That's kind of the main thing, and it's much easier.
You just
Okay.
made a good point. Oh, I'm sorry. You go first.
No, no, no. You go.
Okay. So this is a point that somebody made on the previous episode of the podcast that I hadn't considered it, but I absolutely love this. So I want to bring it back. And it's that this is something that we're all talking about is, there's a lot of the skill floor that comes from playing these other MOBAs is all these characters and all these mechanics that already exist, and you start playing, say, League of Legends for the first time, and you go into a lane, and you need to not only understand your own character, but every single possible character you could be going against. And something that Unite has going for it, other than the fact that it is a small roster to begin with, is that these people playing this game already have a general idea of what these Pokemon do. You see Charizard, you know he's going to be breathing fire at you. You see Snorlax, you know he's going to be a big, tanky, sleepy boy. And this is something that Unite has over other MOBAs. I guess not all other MOBAs, like Heroes of the Storm, for example, but people know what a character's specialty is, even if they've never played Unite specifically before.
Yeah, so uh, reiterating what Epona said, or well, I forgot who said it actually, but yeah, this game is definitely easy to learn, hard to master, because it is easy to learn, but the skill ceiling goes up really quickly because it requires a lot of strategization, like previous MOBAs. So
Yeah, that's like for me, I feel like how I could actually play it because I played all the Pokemon games so much and watched the anime and everything that like I already would have an idea of what the Pokemon do, even if I have no idea how to play a MOBA.
yeah, so yeah, I really like the game just because of how well it seems Pokemon as a whole. Like, it doesn't need any more complicated stuff that LOL or Dota has. It just has your Pokemon, your abilities, and then battling wild Pokemon, and then adding on what the universe of Pokemon Unite has, which is Aeon Energy and the other miscellaneous stuff that it has in the game. But it still fits the theme of Pokemon extremely well.
So Lumalii, did you look at the Pokemon roster for the game yet?
Nope.
Okay, can you
Tell
do
me
that real
about it.
quick? I just want to
Oh, yeah,
see
you
your
gotta
impression.
tell me.
Okay, so we got, the first 3 Kanto starters. We got Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle. Do you like
Yeah.
those in the game? Do you like other starters better?
I always choose the water starters pretty much always, except maybe grass, but never fire.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I like Squirtle a lot, or also Bulbasaur.
Well, that kind of sucks because Squirtle's not going to be in the game on release. But
Like,
at some point
why?
in the
That's like a
future,
fan favorite.
I don't really know why. I don't know if anyone has ideas why, but Blastoise and Gardevoir are going to come after release at some point.
Okay, those
Um,
are favorites too.
my theory on that is, I'm not entirely sure about the Blastoise itself. That's why it'll probably come out. Probably. Come on, get real here. My speculation is that it'll come out in between the Switch version and the mobile version release, and just due to like more keeping interest sort of thing. Nobody releases a full game at these days. They release most of the game and give you the content, sporadically just to keep you entertained. Uh, my theory with Gardevoir though is just because of something like Future Sight, um, something on the like on the Switch, it's going to be a lot harder to be more precise with the, for instance, Future Sight, especially with the delay.
Can you
Whereas
explain
on
that
the
to people,
mobile,
what that move is?
Future Sight is basically, it's a AOE ability that after, it's a targeted AOE, so you place a circle, and after I think it's a 1 second delay or like a half second, it's about 0.75 to 1 second delay. Um, it pops and hits for some nice damage. One of the things about it is that once you level up high enough, it will also level up, so you'll get Future Sight Plus, and when you land Future Sight Plus, and like you actually hit an enemy with it, not just like the APOMs, like not a creep, but actually another player
Mm-hmm.
with it, it will reset the cooldown.
Oh.
And so one of the things is being able to precisely place, like chain your Future Sights, and playing on mobile or on on mobile is a lot easier to like it. Playing on Switch is going to be a lot harder to actually properly play Gardevoir, and so I believe that's why they're waiting on the release of Pokemon like that. I can't explain why they're releasing Blastoise for like mechanic reasons. That's the only reason I say it's more like you just give people content as you go to keep them entertained, sort of thing. That's why they're not releasing the name of the third Pokemon, which, in my opinion, is probably Zorora. It was just removed for the Canadian beta, whereas I'm pretty sure Clefable was replaced with Wigglytuff.
Which is
I
a,
don't think
a
we're going
damn
to be
disaster,
seeing
if I have
Clefable.
to say.
I know, right? I'd personally rather see some Clefable action here. Coming from Pokemon Go, Wigglytuff is a monster, and I've seen enough of that thing.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
there's
I
also...
mean,
Oh, keep going.
go on. I was gonna say basically it's just a releasing scheme for like the Pokemon are gonna come once the mobile version's going to get released. I'm not so sure about Zorora. It might get like announced with the mobile thing, and then let's say coming December, so that they can fine tune the move set, like the numbers on it. Because from what I've seen, is the its moves seem pretty. I can't remember all of what they do off the top of my head, but I remember when I was looking at them, I'm like, this thing is going to be pretty ridiculous.
So, in your
It's got a lot
opinion,
of
what did it? Oh, sorry.
it's got a lot of chain moves with CC. Um, Especially if you can properly land, like it's one of those higher skill floor and ceiling Pokemon. Um, from what I've learned, it has a lot of damage and CC mixed together as long as you can properly chain and sequence its abilities.
Would you all say you're Switch players over mobile or mobile players over Switch?
I'm personally going to be playing on mobile, like I said, because it is more precise than using a joystick. Not to mention, like one of the biggest upsetting factor for me on Switch was the fact that my auto attacks are on A, and so it makes it kind of hard to aim, cast an ability while I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
auto attack or even anything like that. Like removing I'm not a fan of removing my thumb from the right thumbstick for any game, to be honest.
Okay. Everyone else? Switch or mobile?
Actually, I got a question
Oh, go ahead.
for lunch. So, what do you think the chances are that the third Pokemon will be something completely different that we don't know of in the beta? Because I have a feeling for Zero Aura. Because what Team Studios usually does is have like events for like special like equipment like for Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile. They usually do special events for like legendary stuff or mythical stuff. So I would think that Zero Aura would go into their like one of their intricate events or whatnot because that's what Team usually does. But I'm not too sure if they'll have it at Unite. But going back to the original question, what do you think the chances are that the third Pokemon would be something completely different?
Yeah, so especially after you explaining something like that too, like that does make a lot of sense. Like that, like, and that's where I'm going. It makes a lot of sense. That's like the dream idea for a company to do this. How often do companies really kind of deliver on that sort of thing? And so personally, I don't believe they do like, you know what I mean? Like that's like a dream move. And so you're asking me personally, like, what are my odds of saying that? I'd say they're less than likely. I wouldn't say slim, but you know what I mean? Let's say
Yeah.
40%, 35% chance sort of thing. But that's just my personal opinion, right? Like
Uh,
uh,
so
I
I
don't
have a
work for them,
question.
and they could have some great game plans up the road.
So I have a question for you, Mewleon, on that point. So you say that Timmy is used to doing this. What sorts of games have they done this before? And I'd be interested. Are they also MOBAs?
I have not played Arena of Valor, but I do play Call of Duty Mobile like semi regularly. And what they do is they do events in accordance to like legendary skins or mythical skins. Um, and I'm curious as to how they would do it with like mythical Pokemon or legendary Pokemon playables.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
wonder if
So
they just go with that plan or whatnot.
I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I feel like there is a pretty stark difference between a cosmetic, so like you're talking about like legendary and like mythical skins versus like playable characters. I
Yeah.
don't think in a MOBA, I don't, I there's one MOBA in Hong Kong that is mainly played in Hong Kong that I know of, but there's no other MOBA that I know of that basically time gates characters. Because that essentially means that, you know, if a character is good or bad, they are locked to certain players who played at a certain time, and that's just not a really good look for a MOBA. So I highly doubt that's going to happen. If we can speak frankly, sorry, Ipona, can we speak frankly about the other data mine stuff here?
Yeah, anybody can talk about whatever they want. They can make fun of people. I don't really care. As long as it
Okay.
doesn't break TOS, you can say whatever you
Okay,
want.
yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I could talk about. So,
Mm-hmm.
other than Zero Aura, there are a few other characters that have been like in the data, which is why I think Zero Aura is going to be next. Because even though they had not been available since the Chinese beta, they have been, you know, available in the code. It and Blissey, and there's a few other ones that are slightly less confirmed that have been floating around in the code. So there's clear that there's assets there, and I don't really think there's a point to creating those assets if they're not going to be used. Clefable is in a pretty unique spot. I think I don't know if it has assets. I assume it does since it was in the original trailer. But one thing I think may have happened to Clefable is that they decided they wanted that character to have a sync type move and decided that Wigglytuff would be a better fit. And so they may
Well,
be currently working on reworking Clefable into a different type of character before releasing them.
I agree with that last point right there. Yeah, I agree with that. That's
Yeah.
kind of
yeah, I
like,
think
don't take what I was saying as like Clefable's gone forever. I have a feeling they reskinned the Clefable kit under Wigglytuff, and
Mm-hmm.
Clefable will have its own. I envision more Clefable as a Meteor Mash damage kind of character than a Sing Charm kind of character.
I think it's likely to be a defender, personally. That's my personal thoughts on it, but
Ooh.
that's just from seeing so much Clefable in competitive.
Ooh,
But sort of,
yeah.
I don't think Clefable will be a support. I think that's pretty much off the table because right now we
Yes.
have Wigglytuff, and if we are looking at the data mines, we have Blissey coming up as well. So that's already 2 pink blobs in the supporter role. I kind of don't think they want to add a third pink blob to that role.
So yeah, I was probably overthinking that legendary mythical idea. I think I agree with you on the Clefable part. It's definitely going to be used in the future, considering how much of a legacy that Pokemon has within competitive Pokemon, and knowing that TPCI wants to bring in that nostalgia, especially Generation 1 Pokemon, because as we were talking about the lineup, I noticed how half the current lineup so far from the stress test is Generation 1 Pokemon. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure they want to bring that back to attract players to start using that Pokemon more. And same for the Canadian beta, Clefable was not used much at all.
There
Yeah,
was no
Clefable hasn't been
Clefable
in
in
any
the
beta.
yeah,
Oh, well,
and Wigglytuff also wasn't in the Canadian beta.
oh, okay,
I
no, I'm
think we
thinking of
only had
something
like
else. Then never mind.
we still we had 20 Pokemon, I'm pretty sure, because they took 2
21.
away. We had 21?
Well, both Blastoise and Gardevoir were in the Canadian beta, right?
Yes, but the
Yes.
Wigglytuff wasn't.
Oh, Wigglytuff wasn't. Right. Yeah.
So I'm
Okay,
yeah,
no, that's
20.
what I'm thinking
We
of.
had
My bad.
20.
You're
But no,
correct.
I was so fired up to see Wigglytuff in the Japanese stress test, and I can't wait to play it some more when it comes out.
Maybe somebody can correct me on this, but I think it's kind of weird what they're doing in the various betas because in the original Chinese beta, that was closed, Zeraora was there, and I think Wigglytuff was also there. Does anybody know if I'm wrong about that? But I think Wigglytuff was there, and then they cut both of those in the Canadian one, and then they cut Blastoise and Gardevoir for the Japanese one, but then re-added Wigglytuff.
I believe you're right on the Wigglytuff and Zorora being cut. I think there was like what I have heard is that those two were cut because I remember people saying like back in the day that Clefable's gonna be the thing, and it's like, but there were people who are like, no, I've seen Wigglytuff is
Yeah.
the fairy blob thing
Yeah.
for the time, and so I have also vague recollection of both of Zorora and Wigglytuff being the original. Like I think Wigglytuff was in the original, and then in the second Chinese beta, Zorora was cut, and then Zorora and Wigglytuff were cut for the Canadian beta, and then like you had said in the Japanese stress test, Wigglytuff had been brought back, but they had taken away Blastoise and Gardevoir, and said they're going to be released at a later date.
And I
Yeah,
think I'm. Yeah. Please go. You
yeah,
first.
yeah, I can vouch for that actually.
Yeah,
Like
my thought process, this is complete speculation, but based on how they have been adding and removing these characters to these various betas, it makes me wonder at all because, Wigglytuff was originally there and then Wigglytuff wasn't there for Canada and then they brought it back and, now Blastoise and Gardevoir are gone and they're being added post-launch and with Zorora that happening as well. I'm wondering if the reason they are removing these characters temporarily is just to rework them. So I'm wondering if you mentioned this for Gardevoir, where Gardevoir could potentially be a problem to play on Switch, and I'm wondering also for Blastoise if the reason they're taking a little bit more time on them is to work on the moves a little bit more to make them fit both systems and to make them, be healthier for game balance.
One of the things I do want, like, why I'm like one of the reasons why I'm not so sure on a Blastoise, like like this is why I'm not so sure as to when it's coming out, is because the only reason why I can see them taking Blastoise away was because Blastoise was ridiculously strong in the Canadian stress test. There's almost no point in playing Snorlax unless you're playing Charizard, or sorry, not Charizard, Blastoise and Snorlax on the same team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would always play Blastoise. The only time you'd ever see Snorlax at high level play was when it was also on the same team as a Blastoise. And generally, even if you didn't, like, you played Snorlax over Blastoise, your team was actually at a disadvantage because of the kit Blastoise provides.
That might be a point in favor of them sort of taking a little bit more time on Blastoise to sort of differentiate it a
Exactly,
little bit
yeah.
more. Yeah.
But see, where it's like, honestly, but they could have just done what they did to Garchomp and everything, right? They could have just reworked where the moves go.
Yeah.
But I understand the point in that, because it's like, if you do that, then one of the points was using the was it Water Pulse or Surf? I can't remember which one. It was Rapid Spin and one of the two water moves. And what you would do is you would actually Rapid Spin and shoot your Hydro Cannons out.
Hmm.
And I was not a Blastoise man, I'll tell you that. Or barely picked him up. But what he would do is he would shoot in a circle, and everyone in that within the radius of where his Hydro Pumps went would get knocked up, instead of him just spinning around and dealing damage. And if they were to do the same thing that they did to Garchomp, they would basically just entirely remove that part of his kit. And so, you know what? Maybe you are on to a point saying they have to entirely rework him, like you're saying, to properly balance him even.
Yeah, to
Okay,
make him
I
just
think
not a
we've
better
gone over
Snorlax.
this one a bit enough.
Epona, what are you cosplaying as? That's my question for you.
I am the inner tube Snorlax. That's the skin in the game. I'm missing the glasses, but I forgot to buy them.
What kind of glasses is it? Like black rim glasses or what?
They're star glasses. I don't really know how to describe them. Like, they look like stars, pink stars.
Okay. Is he always standing in the game too?
Well, he can do he can use rest, where he just falls asleep and gets health, and then he also has his unite move, which is basically his unite, where he rolls on the ground and just kind of rolls over.
Can you demonstrate for us? Can you roll around on the ground for
Yes,
us right
yeah,
now?
I
was
can't
just gonna ask
because you
that.
don't want to see the floor. It's a bit of a nightmare.
Why is it a nightmare? What's on it?
There's like 4 trash cans. There's a pile of laundry. There is a laundry basket of laundry. There's like 5 bags, all filled with plastic bags.
Yeah, but
There's like 30
Snorlax like
cans.
dig through the trash.
Everything's
That's
organized. It's just there's a
cosplaying.
lot of trash everywhere.
In character.
You don't want to see it. It's there's a lot of boxes. I can show you. I still have, Cage Ramen's in the chat. I still have this LED light that, it's kind of a rough past with it. I bought it because I thought I could plug it
Yeah.
into a wall, but apparently you can't. So I just
Yeah, I
have it
remember
now.
talking about that.
It's pretty rough. So yeah, Snorlax is in the game. There's, Gengar up to Gengar. There's Cinderace, Talonflame, Lucario, Absol, Venusaur, the other, or I think I already said. But who else is in the game?
Cramorant,
Pikachu's in it.
Alolan Ninetales, Garchomp, Eldegoss. You had to have mentioned Eldegoss.
I did not.
Oh, shame on you, Eldegoss, main.
Bros in
But
there.
there's one Pokemon that's not in the game, and people are freaking out about it, and how it's going to be in the game, and when it's going to be in the game, and why is it not already in the game? What Pokemon is that?
Who are you asking?
Anybody? Someone?
Eevee?
Yes. So
Oh, the
Literally,
black one.
Eevee.
Yeah, so
Pokemon.
Eevee's an interesting one because like how would you be able to utilize Eevee when it has 8 different evolutions?
Lumalii, what you got for us?
What about Eevee?
Yep. How are they going to put Eevee in the game?
I don't know. I think so thinking about Eevee like competitively in the games, like the way that you can make him good is having adaptability and using like trump card and like random shit like that. So I don't know if they gave Eevee. I know like in Let's Go Eevee they gave him like these crazy moves that you could do to learn from like a move tutor in the game that just like made him insanely overpowered. So I guess they could do something like that to just give him like any elemental type, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
because that
I
Eevee
mean,
didn't evolve, right?
yeah, it didn't evolve. You couldn't evolve it. Either starter in Let's Go, you couldn't evolve.
So
So they
that could be a
basically, like,
thing.
yeah, they made it overpowered. So yeah, probably that.
Oh yeah, did anybody say Greninja was in Unite 2?
I haven't yet. But I do like the whole idea of Eevee just doesn't evolve, because everybody's freaking out. They're like,
Yeah.
you can't add Eevee because then you got to add all of them. And they're like, well, how do you
Right.
balance that, or how do you do that mid game? Does it evolve to whatever you pick? But I mean, just keeping it
Well,
Eevee sounds pretty
Yeah.
okay. I don't know.
To that point, there are some things in the data that suggest that Sylveon will be playable, in which case Eevee would probably just directly evolve into Sylveon, and that would be the one that they
Why
choose.
do they choose the worst evolution?
Ask them.
That's the one in New Snap. So,
Yeah. Well, no, there's other ones.
They're all in Usenet.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not the. Yeah, they are. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Spoiler. I didn't. It.
Well, scrap that idea, I guess.
Yeah.
But the one
Yeah,
in the
there are.
Meganium map, which they love, and that's on the poster, right, is just an Eevee. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, no, there's a Sylveon there. Damn it.
Really on there too.
There are a few things they could do. The thing that they shouldn't do, and I really hope they don't, and this goes for all the split evolutions, is that I hope they don't make it that you can choose different Pokemon that have the same evolution and use them both in game, because then you have a huge game clarity issue
yeah,
of having
so
several unevolved Pokemon that you don't know until it uses a move which one it is. Like if you have a Hitmonchan and a Hitmonlee, you basically have two Tyrogues running at you, and you don't know which of them is going to throw out, a kick dash, and which one's going to do an elemental punch. And that can play a lot into, especially at higher levels of play, that's really bad for game clarity. So if
yeah,
they do
so
any split evolutions, please either choose one or find another way to do it.
So
Where I
Tom
can see
Berrien.
them doing that though is like, sorry to interject, my friend,
There, you're good.
but the one Pokemon I can actually see them being able to come out with that can do that sort of thing. Like think of like Jace from League of Legends, um, even Greninja where he turns melee to,
Mhm.
like he does that sort of thing. But like something like Aegislash, where it would have an ability, one of its abilities makes it go between the two forms that it has.
Oh, form
And I
changing stuff
know
makes
they
tons of sense. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, and
it's
I
the
can
problem
see
is
that happening. No, I
yeah,
agree with you entirely with I know exactly, like with
split.
the unknown ability, like oh, it could be between, like you said, Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, or even then you got Hitmontop because it's a Tyrogue. Like
Hitmontop.
that's
Yeah,
three evolutions, dude.
the great
What could they
example
do?
I like to give. Oh, sorry. The
Mhm.
great example I like to give is the reason why Gardevoir is in the game and Gallade isn't is because Gallade is a very dueling close range melee mon, whereas Gardevoir is a ranged tank. And as a Ralts or a Kirlia, you don't know which one you want to all in and which one you want to stay away from, because one of those Kirlias is gonna punch you real hard, and one of those Kirlias, if you go in on them, has no escape, and you don't know which
also
is which.
yeah, that's the
I
point
just
I was
say
about to make. Oh, sorry.
beautifully put.
Yeah, that was the point I was about to make. Is that if you use like a Ralts Gardevoir Gallade setup and you do a split evolution, you technically have a better advantage because you can see the other team and plan out, oh, do I want Gardevoir or Gallade during the match, and you'd have a much bigger advantage because you could get one or the other. You get either close range or far range Gardevoir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tom Berry in chat had an idea. What if it's something related to a held item, where it almost forces? I mean, so that was his point. But I'm gonna kind of go further with it and say, what if you have to have a certain held item that kind of works towards whatever evolution it is?
Oh, then I'm fine with it then.
Well, your opponents don't see your held items, so there's
Yes.
still a lack of game clarity for your opponents.
Well, no, but like if the Eevee example, where you have to hold a certain held item and you do evolve into something, do you still think that's unbalanced? Because personally, coming from a game where people swap roles all the time, I'm okay with having Pokemon that can play different roles. I don't know if you guys disagree with that heavily or what, but
I
I'm
agree.
okay with
Like
an Eevee
Ninetales,
that like
Ninetales can
goes
swap
into
roles.
whatever it wants to be.
Okay. So there's two different variants here. Are you suggesting that there is one character, Eevee, that based on its held item can evolve into different things? Or are you saying that Jolteon and Flareon are both in the game and they both start as Eevee? Which are you saying?
The second one.
The second one? Okay, so the problem with that is then you have a Jolteon that starts as Eevee and a Flareon that starts as Eevee, and they have different move sets because they evolve into different things. But in that first stage of the game where they're both Eevee, the enemy player, they look at your model. It's really important that in a MOBA that you can look at a model and immediately know what that character can do to you. If you have two identical models running at you and you don't know which has which set, that's a problem for the enemy.
Oh, no, I meant like there can only be one EV in the game still, but it can evolve into anything. And that EV is still just an EV. It's the same two basic moves, and then when it...
Still kind of the general concept.
Yeah.
The point applies to even
But-
only having one EV on a team. The thing is there's a certain way. So, for instance, there is different ways depending on what Pokemon they're playing that I am going to be, selecting my move set as I'm leveling up with Ninetales, and or arguably in a higher level competitive play if they allow draft mode, then that's going to really allow the selection of your items, which even further complicates the EV idea because you're not allowed to see it. You can itemize your EV. You can last pick, like you can have your EV, and then you can just pick whichever item you want to select the EV you want for their team.
Yeah, and the
That's
enemy
a
doesn't
side note
see
for
which
that.
evolution you picked until you evolve, which is hugely problematic.
Do you find...
And
see, I
so
wouldn't
let's
find that
say
to be a problem.
But see,
I'd be
let's
okay
say
with
I'm
that.
itemizing for a team that I know I need to heavily CC and push back versus as Alola Ninetales versus a team that I need to, like play secondary AD carry against, like
So-
fighting.
I mean, so I think you could look at a lot of Pokemon
eliminates
and
them
just
only
say...
when I don't get, like just knowing just you playing Eevee, I don't know. I can't make a game plan as I'm going into the game. Like it takes that away from someone, just that one pick. And
See,
removing
especially
player
then-
agency.
I would say that's a high level, just like a high level thing. You still have it at the low level where they can look at it and see what it does, but this is like a high level only thing where it matters.
But
No,
you
it
can't
removes
put
player
something in
agency
the
at every
game
point.
only for you can't put something in the game only for low level players. You're the whole premise of having a game.
No, I'm
cycle
saying
is
like the
you're
issue
playing
of
low.
like how do I play against it, like is really a high level thing.
Yes, but the thing is, it's not just a high level. Okay, but if you don't do it at low levels, you're just gonna lose. This guy can do whatever the hell they want.
If the character would be, if any one character had that much flexibility in what they could become later in later stages of the game, the character would either be incredibly broken due to their flexibility and would be a sure pick in every single game, or their numbers would have to be low enough that they would be so bad that flexibility didn't matter and nobody would really play them and they wouldn't be fun. So you have to balance player agency and game clarity.
Well, I'm saying
And
like pick Snorlax for example. There
Snorlax
are
doesn't
technically, no, I know, but there are like you can pick any, not any Pokemon, but you can pick certain Pokemon and say you don't know how they're gonna build. Like the Snorlax, you could go with the fighting build if you wanted to.
if you see
But you can't
Snorlax,
like
you know
know
that it
that
has
it's gonna
4
do that.
potential moves. But you know if you see a Snorlax, it has 4 potential moves. You know it either has Flail or Heavy Slam. With Eevee, you see Eevee. This could be Thunder Shock. This could be Flame Wheel. This could be Water Gun. This could be Fairy Wind. This could be Leaf Storm. This could be Glaciate. Like it could be Dark Pulse, Psychic. You get my point?
No, I get it. And I think it's fair. I don't have a problem with that kind of thought process. I just think that makes it kind of fun, but maybe people don't want it.
The way you play around a Snorlax is not going to differ all that much depending on whether it goes Flail or Heavy Slam. The way you're going to play around a character that completely changes is a lot different.
And where you were saying with like it could be fun kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. Fun is for casuals. That's very offsetting to competitive level players. So you can either ruin your game to the majority of people who play games, or you can get just a casual play base. Kind of like look at what the Wii did when they only wanted to be family entertainment. They really Nintendo dropped sales like motherfuckers. It's the same kind of idea with almost any game. You can't just appeal to a casual player base with something like that.
Okay.
Yahoo!
Thank you.
People were doing that, so I had to do that.
Yeah, we got a lot of ruckus in the chat right now from the Mario people. They want to know if Gengar with a shoe is going to come in the game as a skin. Thoughts, anybody? Apparently, it's in the episodes.
I would love to see it.
Me too.
I'd love
So
to
it's
see it.
episode 193. So what is that, Johto then? I don't think I've seen that one actually.
Has anyone seen the
I'm
episode?
looking.
No.
And thank you, Mojo, for that, for starting all that. That's great. We need to know. Any other lore skins that you're expecting in the game?
I don't even think we've seen any. I haven't seen any Gengar skins, so I would just love to see one in general.
Yeah, Gengar is one of those popular Gen 1 Pokemon that doesn't have a skin, which is very strange. As for lore skins, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is the Riley skin for Lucario, Riley being the character who has one in like the movie and stuff.
Is he like a wizard or something?
He's kind of like just kind of a cool dude, I guess. He wears like a cape and a funny hat and stuff, and so they gave Lucario the same cape and hat. Other than that, I don't know of any.
I can hit all the Pokemon Go players too with this one as well though. Like if you were to just give us like as a cheap chroma equivalent, like a recolor sort of thing, if you were to just allow us to have Squirtle with the glasses,
And the
evolving the
glasses.
War Turtle with the Squirtle Squad glasses, and then Blastoise with the Squirtle Squad glasses, just like in Pokemon Go. Oh yeah, people would eat that shit up. Especially if you made it real cheap too. Oh, that'd be on every Blastoise.
And all the Pikachu dress up stuff, like the fighting Pikachu and the I don't know, the fancy Pikachu and everything. That would be super cute.
Another
Honestly,
good chroma idea.
I think they just
Sorry,
gotta
go
like pump out skins when the game comes out, and people will just be happy. They don't even care about the
Oh
game.
yeah.
You just give every
Well,
Pokemon like 20 skins. I think people are just happy.
Oh no, I remember when people started raving about Cinderace's skins
oh,
when the Chinese
the
beta came
pirate.
out. Yeah.
I love the pirate, man.
The
I
pirate's got to
hadn't
be a
played
theme.
Cinderace
It's
only
got to
for
be.
the pirate, man. Like it was so good. I think that's in the summer theme because it's watery, aquatic. I don't know,
I thought it was Hawaiian
but
theme as the other people, like this guy.
oh yeah, it is Hawaiian.
Yeah,
Pineapple Hawaiian shirts. Look, oh, it is Hawaiian.
yeah, like the
I believe
Machamp
that I
skin. Can
believe
we
it's
agree
yeah.
that's like kind of lame?
It is, but it's still summery. Like, come on, that's the whole plan of it coming out in the summer. This is the first set of skins. It's summer themed. I get it. We'll get winter ones come winter time for North America.
Can we also agree that the Eldegoss skin, sadly enough, is by far the worst skin in the whole game?
I think
I mean,
Gardevoir's is worse.
bro, you get a fucking jacket. What are you complaining about?
I didn't even notice the jacket.
Yo, on your player avatar, you get an Eldegoss jacket. It's beautiful.
Oh, I thought it was just the
Beautiful.
Pokemon gets a skin. I didn't know there were Avatar
It
stuff.
was a new. It was a new. Yeah, oh yeah, you can change your player character, like really customize it
So if you
and
get the
everything.
Blastoise skin, do you also get a suit?
No, there's just some Pokemon. So Cramorant got like a rain, like you could get a rain, like a raincoat and everything that was Cramorant styled, or you get this really big floofy jacket sort of thing that was Eldegoss styled. And of course you got like your Pikachu hood and shit like that always. But not every Pokemon had like their own character style. Like you couldn't dress like all the Pokemon in the game.
Yeah, as for the actual skin titles, so the Hawaiian ones you guys were talking about are referred to as beach style hollowware, and the Cinderace
Oh.
skin I believe is called pirate style. So it is a different sort of
Yes.
skin line.
Maybe we can get. Oh, of course we're gonna get pirates of other Pokemon though.
Yeah, one thing that one of my friends mentioned, and I have no idea if this was intentional or not, but apparently in One Piece there is a fire pirate who goes by Ace, and they set things on like cinders, so people are thinking it's a reference to that. A fire
But
pirate named Ace.
Ace isn't the captain though. I'm not gonna spoil it, but Ace never gets to be captain. So
Whoa, whoa,
no.
whoa! People haven't watched
Whoa,
it.
whoa,
Whoa!
I didn't know
whoa.
any of that. I
That's
opened up
spoiler
this.
enough.
That's
It's loose
getting
enough.
muted on the
Don't worry.
VOD. It's out of here.
All right, that's loose enough though. But sure.
See you, Lunchbox.
Get out of here.
Gone. Exiled.
We also got some comments about Rockruff. I personally don't know what a Rockruff is. Anybody have any thoughts?
So Rockruff evolves into Lycanroc, and Lycanroc has Lycanroc evolves depending on the time of day. So there's a midnight form, a midday form, and what was the other one called? No,
Dusk.
it was midnight, dusk, and a midday.
Midday.
Yeah, that one was in Pokemon Snap, the new one.
Damn it,
That
Tay, the
still also
spoilers!
aligns with the
The
same kind of
spoilers!
problem with having the multiple evolutions like through Eevee, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the same kind of issue.
Yeah, because
Same
it
issue.
evolves into 3 different forms depending on the time of day. So yeah.
And then how do you do that in a 10-minute game even?
I mean, we could just add a day-night cycle, which is one of the greatest things in any MOBA. But of course, 10
So if
minutes
you're
probably
really
won't be
bad at the
great.
game, sure, I guess they could
Well,
make it.
Dude,
some
we need night
well,
vision in this game. You know, we need a lot of things to come over.
okay,
That's
so no, here's my point. So I'm pretty sure that most of the battles will have like static either it's day or night. So like Sheriff City, based on the preview we got in, it seems to be at nighttime. So maybe Rockruff if it were added would be a midnight form in that map, but I could probably not. No, I don't think it's a good idea actually.
I think if they release Rockruff, they're just going to release one of the evolutions. They're just going to say, introducing Lycanroc Midnight, and then that'll be the one that evolves. Kind of like what
Yeah, I
they
don't.
did with
Yeah,
Slowbro or Ralts.
yeah, I don't think Rockruff evolution should be RNG based. So
well. Let's be real here. Does anybody actually like Slowking
Yeah,
no.
he's in the
Yeah.
movie with Lugia and the bird.
versus Slowbro?
Yeah,
There's
bro,
not
you
even a
gotta cross
contest.
the
It is
river. You gotta.
no contest. You know.
Slowking can
There's
talk.
no contest, dude. You gotta cross the river to put on the crown to be a goddamn Slow King. Whereas Slow Bros just put. They're the guys who didn't make it.
The Slowking
If you're a
Erasure.
Slow King, you're the champion, man. Slow King's the big man.
Nah.
No.
It's
I
kind of
can
like
see
with Poliwag. You know, who are they gonna put in? You know, we know the big man's coming. You know. Oh, you
with
know.
Slowpoke, I can see Slowking getting added if they add Slowbro Galarian form. They could add Galarian Slowking without running into that issue of the same Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah. I could
So I think
definitely
for
see that.
regional
It's just
variants
kind of
that
like
have split evolutions, it would work.
somehow some people do seem to think that Vulpix Kanto Vulpix and Ninetales will just be a skin option for Alola Ninetales, where it's
I
like,
find that very unlikely.
yeah, they have the model, they just need to put another skin and then a new set on it, and it's a whole new Pokemon. Like that's easy pickings for coming out with a new champion
Whoa, whoa,
or
whoa.
hero, Pokemon,
Champion.
whatever you
Oh
want to
my.
call it.
Oh, we don't use that word
Whatever
here.
you want to call it.
Oh. I
You
just want to say
playable
Lamas agrees with
Pokemon.
me that Slowking is trash. So, you know, we don't agree on many things, but this is something.
Them's fighting words.
Do you think
We
you'll
also
be
got
able to
Golden
play?
Aurelius in the chat, #1 Slowking fan NA. You go.
Someone asked if you'll be able to play as a Pokemon trainer in the game, possibly Ash's mom.
No.
I'm gonna put a no on that, but it
No.
doesn't mean I don't want it. They already put Mime in the game, right? So that means who's next? Ash's mom.
Well, they
It
literally.
makes sense.
Well, they have Ash's mom's Mr. Mime. I'm pretty sure as a skin.
Yeah,
The
that's the
ancient
second
one
Mime
in the
skin,
game.
other than the swag skin.
Oh, I know that. That's the only reason to play Mime back in the Canadian beta was so you can flex on people with your gold suit.
Hey, Pona, can you cosplay as Ash's mom for the next podcast?
I mean, I don't have long hair, but is there anything really like that special? Do I just have to like buy an outfit?
Yeah, you buy an outfit and get a wig.
But like she has normal hair. I don't know. Is that really that
course.
great?
Yes?
I don't know. I would play with Ash's mom. She is the time. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna read the rest of that. Yeah. So yeah, what other Pokemon are in the game? Does Cramorant have a skin?
Oh.
Hmm.
Crustle and Cramorant don't have skins, unfortunately. Someday.
Yeah, Lumalii, do you like Crustle? Are you a fan?
I have no idea what Crustle is.
Good.
Crustle is
How
Generation
is
5.
that?
It's a trash rock. It's probably like rough
Trash
rock. You know, nobody likes it. I'm guessing. That's a total guess.
Have any
Maybe.
People
of
love
you guys
Rockruff.
seen that screenshot of all of the different Unite skins that are out? Like I
Yeah.
know Epona, I assume you have with like like that pineapple Snorlax, which is godlike. Like you've seen that one, right?
I have. I don't have it on hand. If you want to post it or something, you can.
No, that's where I was going. I wish I could have
Oh,
saved that.
does
I
anybody
saved a
have that
couple
on a
of them from
bookmark?
it, but
I
because
can
that
grab it in a few seconds. I have it. I have it somewhere right here. So,
Cool.
but
and
I don't know.
there's no Cramorant skin on it. That's such a shame.
No, there's no Cramorant. It's yeah. So here it is.
I think the easiest way you could go with skins though is like how League did the chromas for champions before like even when some of them only had two skins, they would just give them multiple. You had to buy them, but they were multiple color options for the skin because it was just a base level skin, like not a legendary one. And one of the easiest things they could do to make money is honestly just offer chromas as shiny Pokemon, and you pay like a couple dollars essentially worth of money instead of paying like the $10 it costs for a skin usually, and that's your chroma. And arguably, they could just come out with a second shiny version. It's not canon or anything, but why
Yeah,
not, right?
I think that breaks down a little bit for things like Garchomp and Gengar. I can't think of a single person that would spend any money to turn Garchomp from its color into the exact same color.
What do you mean? Well, okay, agree. Oh,
Wait, what?
but so
I didn't
then,
really
okay,
get
so
that. What happened?
you know what you could do
Shiny
with that?
Garchomp and
Yeah.
Shiny Gengar are essentially indistinguishable from the originals. That's what I'm getting
Okay,
at.
so then, but so what you could do is still just call it a chroma and turn Gengar, Ghastly, and Haunter into shiny Mega
Oh, of
Gengars though.
course. No, I completely agree that chromas are a
Yeah.
possibility. I just don't necessarily think it'll all be shinies. I hope if they do implement shinies in some way, it'll be through a mastery system, but that doesn't make as much money.
Oh. And you know what? Even at that, maybe like you're saying, because Gengar, like you're saying, doesn't look very different. So it's
Yeah,
like maybe you just have a little couple shiny speckles appear on you as an animation every once in a
maybe.
while,
Yeah.
as a mastery sort of thing, like you're saying.
Dude, Mojo
That'd
is
be
going
pretty
wild
cool.
for masteries, by the way. So you guys hit him real hard with that.
Yeah, so I posted the picture of all the skins that we know about. One thing I will say is that it's not here because there's no model for it as far as I know, but there is also a leak of a legendary skin for Wigglytuff. So that's legendary is the same level as the Lucario skin, the Cinderace skin, and the Talonflame skin, where it's like the pre-evolutions also have skins. It's Easter Bunny Wigglytuff.
So, Turtwig Christmas tree or Torterra
If they
Christmas
add
tree.
Torterra,
Dude,
I
did
hope
you look
I
at the Pikachu with the hat? It looks like a '90s kid Pikachu. That's really cute.
Drip Pikachu is very good. Love Drip Pikachu.
Yeah,
Me
both of his
too.
are great. I actually like the spring one better, personally, or whatever it's called, the top hat one, or whatever that kind of
And now
hat
I'm
is.
seeing those glasses on Snorlax. You got to get those glasses for next time you're going to.
I do. I don't know. It just
Don't
costs money.
disappoint. Yeah, you know what else costs money? A toaster. Did you get a toaster yet?
Why would I have gotten a toaster?
I
Get
mean, it's
toaster
just a
bread.
question.
This already costs like $50 because I bought it yesterday.
Your inner tube
And the onesie, the fantastic onesie.
worth it.
It goes all the
You
way.
should have got you should have just found one that was just the pineapple Snorlax, my man.
I tried to get a
Because we all know
pineapple
that's what
costume,
everyone's
but
waiting
the
for.
shipping wasn't there.
We need that pineapple Snorlax. Like that is the goals. I don't even play Snorlax, but I'm gonna be buying that pineapple Snorlax skin for when I have to play Snorlax.
I don't play him either, but he's cool enough to get an inner tube for. I have a strawberry one and a what's it called? The little brown thing that's green inside.
Kiwi?
Yes,
Kiwi?
there's a kiwi one.
Kiwis?
Yes.
Where did you get that Snorlax thing from? And the inner
Amazon. They were both from Amazon, so that's how I knew they would ship and get here by tonight. Because I bought them
You
like
better ask
yesterday afternoon.
Amazon for a sponsor for this video then.
I mean, I'm on Twitch, so
Oh,
not good enough.
this Amazon sponsored. Yep.
You need to do more. Not acceptable.
everybody go get Amazon Prime. Woohoo! Yeah, yeah,
But then use that Prime to sub to you. Right? Like
yeah.
that's what you're supposed to plug, my man.
I'm not a good advertiser.
Hashtag not spawn.
Yeah, I'm not sponsored, but if there are primers, yeah. See, Mojo loves kiwis. So he's loving it.
Well, what's your favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit. I like
I have a
oranges a
quiz.
lot. Orange is pretty good.
Any avocado fans?
Everyone just stare at her. Just,
It's a fruit, guys. It's Chris's favorite fruit.
oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe that's why he's so strong. You know, this guy could like lift 300 pounds over his head. Chris is actually a giant, and he's got a house. You know, I just have an apartment, but he's got a house. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, do you have a citrus berry onesie?
No, I don't.
Do you think that'd be a wise purchase? Would that be worth the $50 or whatever?
Probably not, because that means I have to spend another half of $100.
It is half of $100.
Are there any other skins you guys like a lot? Skins you want to see, maybe?
That's a hard one.
Actually, speaking of, a more interesting topic would be, what kind of playable Pokemon would you like to see in Unite?
I was gonna hit Techno up with that question because he did the stream on that. He knows what people want to see.
I say
Eevee.
obviously.
I'm
I
gonna go down that rabbit hole again.
Okay, so if I'm gonna talk about this, I think that every Pokemon, with the exception of Tranquil, is somebody's favorite. And so it's really hard to obviously you have fan favorites and not fan favorites, but obviously I think Timmy has shown that they're not only gonna go for favorites because we have things like Crustle and Cramorant in the game. I think it's less important to focus on specific characters that we want to see because, there's a lot of potential there. I actually talked to my Discord about this and asked what they would want to see, and there was a lot more interest in getting, you know, more characters in the game that, have, unique playstyles and basically ironing out the overall thing from like being primarily attackers to getting more supports in the game, getting more defenders in the game, having more ways to play the game, whether or not it's a Pokemon that you specifically would want to see. And so I think that's going to be a lot more important. Of course, different people also want to see like, Mimikyu is a super popular one. I've seen Scizor, Weavile. So I could talk about that as well, but I think it's more valuable to talk about, playstyle.
Well, then, I
I
guess
agree.
of those ones, which ones do you think then might, or of the ones that people wanted and you thought are the types of Pokemon that they want to add? I guess if you could combine those in the Venn diagram, what do you think is falling in the middle there?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit. I think there's a lot of good possibilities. I can say as somebody who's been, making a bunch of character concepts myself, there are a lot of characters I'd love to see. I think a lot of the Pokemon that are in Pokken Tournament have a really good chance of getting in. Things like Scizor and Weavile that really showed that they have the capability to work in something outside of an RPG. Because they have movement and they have fighting that works in sort of a 3D field where you aren't standing on a spot and occasionally running over to the enemy and slashing at them with a bad animation.
So
So
something
I
like
think
Crab Brawler.
I hope Crabrawler isn't in the game because if Crabrawler is in the game, that means Crabominable is in the game, and Crabominable is one of the worst Pokemon ever conceived.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Have you seen that thing's face? That's a face not even a mother could love.
That's a bit rude.
It's Crabominable.
Think about the skins, though, man. The skins.
The
One
only skin
question
I would
I-
want for Crabominable is a paper bag over its head.
Well, they might do that.
Hmm.
They could do that. You don't know. They could have a
One
paper
question
bag
definitely-
collection for all the Pokemon.
One question I've
actually be
got
kinda
for Techno
funny.
though is what like along those lines of like covering different roles, like coming out with different roles. What roles in your opinion haven't been covered as of the like 21 Pokemon roster yet?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think in the base roster we are still missing a good sort of control mage or artillery mage, and I think Gardevoir is going to fit that somewhat. I
Yeah.
think we definitely need more healers, which hopefully Blissey is going to
Yeah.
take care of because right now Eldegoss is the only one. One thing that I would personally really, really like to see is a catcher support. Because right now we have, a healing support, and we have whatever the heck Mime is, and we have sort of a damage
Slowbro's
ECC
the closest thing you have to it
to a
with
catcher. Yeah.
telekinesis, and that's it. And it's like that's honestly like I've always been saying, shout out to the league players out there, I guess, is I give me Thresh.
Yeah,
Give me Thresh. Like I even without the lantern, give me Flay Hook Thresh.
I
Or
will
give me Hook
Lunchbox.
Link, give me the hook, and give me one of his abilities, man. Please, please, please.
Well, you know,
Give
Lunchbox.
Ghastly
me
has the hook.
that's a support. That's a support.
Yeah,
Ghastly has
if
the
I'm in,
hook.
yeah, Ghastly has lick, but he loses that. He loses
Yeah,
that.
That
which is a
yeah,
damn shame,
and
actually.
Yeah.
no, you
Lunchbox,
can
remind me after this
actually
stream. I'm gonna send you my Delmise concept. You're gonna love it. It is based on Thresh and Nautilus.
in the Canadian beta, if you chose not to and you selected auto level, like it was a setting that you can turn auto leveling off, you could actually just keep lick through the entire game. It's inferior to what is it? There's Hex and Dream Eater or Hypnosis slash Dream Eater. I think it is just Dream Eater, but it applies a hypnosis effect. Um, but that's what is replaced by it, and so it's just they designed it so that you should be taking your evolution's moves. Because like there's a lot of people I've also seen, they're like, man, Rock Slide on Crushel's awesome. I wish I could keep it, and it's like you can, and then they have, and they're like, okay, I kind of like the other moves better.
I think Solonic's onto
Everyone,
something with Lickitung. That sounds pretty good.
ooh, that's a fire sounding Pokemon right there.
Because I think people in general like both evolutions, or I guess both Pokemon, the base and the evolution.
Even going to yeah, Licky Licky, yeah, that'd be fun.
It's kind of like how
Ooh,
you like Chansey's really cool and Blissy's not, but maybe it's worth it just for the Chansey. Correct.
but so anyways, oh, yeah, I definitely went on a tangent. Where I was going to with Techno with that is like, what other roles do you see not being played that could be used other than like a utility, a true utility support, like you said, a catcher like Thresh, even like you could put that on like a damage character like Pudge from Dota, for instance. But I know what you mean. Like somebody needs a hook. It's better
Then Ghastly's
than
like, yeah.
Do you
Another
think the
than
hook
one that
can make
Ghastly.
it unfun though? People don't like unfun stuff, right? Sometimes people
Um,
think Pudge is annoying on both teams. So, you know, do you think that's too unfun to come into this game?
I come at it from also like as you know, like the more competitive aspect, and it's like it that's not unfun from a high level
There's three
play.
heroes people hate, right? It's Pudge, Invoker, and Techies. Those are the three that you gotta stay away from in a game like Unite. I would think at least.
Yeah, well, Pudge is the only one with the hook, I guess. But at the end, like Invoker is, yeah, high level play. Techie's just not because that's kind of like the same reason people like to hate Teemo in League of Legends. But Teemo's not a good champion. It's just annoying, yeah. But to have a Pokemon that's actually really good, um, and requires respect from a high level standard of play, like or if somebody knows what they're doing with it, you have to respect it. It's like at that point, I even think people who are just playing for fun should understand that like um, there's Pokemon to play and there's Pokemon to not play, and there's ways to play the game and ways to not play the game. Like I don't know what's fun about just picking up a game and face rolling it and doing nothing in it. In my opinion.
agree with that. Yeah, so Lunch to sort of list off a few more just off the top of my head. A form changer would be pretty cool. You mentioned Jace earlier, or like Nidalee, some character that changes between melee and
Mm-hmm.
ranged. I think is something that the game
AG Flash.
like Aegislash or Meloetta or something like that. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of potential there. Area control, I think something like Garbodor that could like as a defender that could set up toxic spikes, sort of like Teemo shrooms. I hate to
Mm.
bring up Teemo
Yeah, no,
shrooms,
no, but it's
but
true. If you could do that in a proper way, like even if it is just team mushrooms, I agree with that sort of thing.
yeah, or
Oh,
like
actually,
something like Tangrowth, like more area control. Because right now I think
Mm.
the only real area control we have from defenders is Crussel's Wall, and that's
Yep.
and I yeah, and I guess Alolan Ninetales as well. But I feel like that one's more offensive in nature. So more area control, some kind of utility support, some kind of form changer that can like swap between forms. I think these are all things the game could benefit from in the future.
I agree entirely.
And I'm
That's
sending you
and
my
so then
Delmise right now.
that's where I was going is with that question. It's like what Pokemon like opponent asked earlier. Like what Pokemon do you think could tie into those sort of things? So like for instance, where I was thinking like I just got a low level brain here thinking of one MOBA right now, League of Legends. It's like Zyra's a really great control mage that can even play support, kind of like Annie can. But it's like Zyra's her own level because she's got those seedlings that she puts down and they react off of her abilities and everything like that. Like she is a very control mage in a certain like she's very zoning versus hmm, something like Annie who is not as zoning but is it's more of a just straight up control mage.
So
What,
Um
speaking of
is there a
forms,
question there? Sorry.
oh no.
sorry. I did the thing. So where I was going with that basically is like I could see a couple different grass types coming out there like as that sort of mage. Like plenty of different seed disposing, like even like they took it away with Bulbasaur, but like there's plenty of other Pokemon that use seeds and stuff like that. So it's like I can see that sort of thing happening. There's plenty of different MOBAs rip off moves from other MOBAs and just take them from various sources at this point because other people came first. But I can definitely see something like there is going to be like control mage grass type sort of thing happening.
Oh,
do
of course, yeah.
do you guys think? And then Mewleon, then we can get to yours right after this question.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that they're just gonna release the starters in waves, or they're kind of just gonna do Gen 1 starters and be like, hey, whatever, we're kind of good with trios? Just kind of
I
a
want to be the
guess,
last
really.
person to answer that. I'm going to be the last to answer that.
Just a guess, like a yeah or no, and like a.
Mewleon, why don't you go first? We've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
So what no, I was gonna talk about like form changes and such. Another interesting one I had in mind was on Darmanitan, but I don't know if you want to like go into discussion about that. Because I feel like he has some potential because it's two forms um like very heavily from each other. So there's like a Zen mode which is fire psychic, and then a standard mode which is just fire. But I feel like if they do form changes pretty well, I think it would define the meta of Pokemon Unite.
I could definitely see that happening with Galarian Darmanitan. Because it's got a lot, like, its form changes are a lot more different than the regular one. Unova? That's it, I assume.
I think the form change is about the same. One goes from fire fighting to fire psychic, and the other one goes from ice fighting to ice fire.
Oh.
So I think they're similar in concept. I think Galarian would be the more fun one, because he turns into an angry snowman. Um, so I'm down for that. I think Darmanitan's a great option for that. The one issue I potentially see with Darmanitan versus something like one of the other form changes like Aegislash we discussed is the way, and they could change this for the game, but the way Zen mode works is it only activates Zen mode after it falls below a certain amount of HP, kind of like Cramorant with the Arrokuda versus the Pikachu, and I don't think it would feel good for a player to only have access to a certain form if you were hit enough times. And if you healed above that, you would go away from that form. I think it would something with more player agency would be more fun.
So here's one of the things I kind of like I theory crafted with as well. Just passive wise is like treating something like that. I can't remember the name of the Pokemon. It's that fish that turns into a school of
Wishy
fish,
washy.
like
Wishy washy.
wishy washy.
That's a new snap.
And if you could play that with like Nar's passive sort of thing, where like with like an enrage, and so eventually you just turn into wishy washy, like the big wishy washy, and it lasts for X amount of time as the meter decays and everything. And I was like, that could be a really cool concept for a Pokemon.
Would you play as the
Like
tiny fish though? Eh.
yes, yeah, you play as the tiny fish
But that
usually,
doesn't sound very
building up
fun.
like a well, it's kind of like playing as Gnar in League of Legends. You play as this tiny little Yordle, prehistoric Yordle who throws a boomerang, sure, cool, and he hops around and applies like this 3 stacking passive to enemies he hits, and then he turns into this giant giant prehistoric dinosaur fucking Yordle, and that's the fun one to play as. But it's the idea of balancing the two forms out and managing to use the big one to your advantage because that's the limited time one. And so I believe something like Wishy-Washy, there's probably somebody could probably, especially in your chat, probably could give me a better example of something that could play like that. But that's also one of the ideas of form changing that I.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I sent you something your way about Hoopa with Hoopa Confined and Hoopa Unbound. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
Oh,
There's
I
like
am not
the
familiar,
tiny
but
little
I've
Hoopa and
heard
the
of them.
giant Hoopa with 6 arms. I sent you something your way, but I don't want to continue dominating the chat with this right now.
Yep.
So, Mewleon, where were you going with that? Did you have an idea, or was it just a question with that?
It was just a question. I was just following up on the discussion about form changes.
Okay.
Opponent, is there another topic?
Well,
So no,
I was just
no,
gonna
I was
ask.
about to say.
Oh.
No.
Go for it. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm looking at the schedule. Now I was gonna move on to the state of the game and the anticipation that we're in right now, but you go first.
No, that's where I was gonna move. I was gonna say like where we are now in the future. Just kind of gonna go move to that. So
People
everybody, I
thinking
guess, is waiting for the game, right? On every social media, people have been going crazy all, 12 days of this month. Technically, even before this month, people were like, they're gonna release it early in June. And I was like, I don't know about that. So number one, do you think the
Gamers
game is
don't
coming
believe
out
that.
in July? Most people, I think, say yes, but do you maybe think it might not for some crazy reason? And do you have any thoughts about people and their expectations of the game?
the expectations.
Like release date or the game, either one is good.
The release date's a funny topic actually, but I think the people have a I don't think it's as high of a expectations as what you say with like Pokemon Sword and Shield, considering how it's just a spin-off game. But I think people are really looking forward to the concept of the game, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, how people were initially skeptical of it at first, but now since the community has turned around their opinion about amongst the game, I think their expectations are pretty high as to what Pokemon Unite could be for the long run. Since this is a long run game rather than just like a mainline game where it just like dies off within 3-6 months if you don't include VGC.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I don't want to get into it because I know I'm going to go on for forever. So Lunchbox, why don't you go?
Basically, well, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Nah, Techno, I'm gonna need you to go ahead for a second.
Just keep it
Okay,
short, I guess, if you can.
I will do my best. So I actually did a video last week on Pokemon Unite leaks, and one of the things that I think that this community, and this goes for all communities, but one thing that I would really hope the Pokemon Unite community gets better about is tempering their expectations and not just parroting everything they hear any other person say on a Discord server, because there are completely unsubstantiated rumors flying around about characters that are going to be in the game and events that are going to be happening later this week and all this stuff where nobody has an actual source. They just know it's going to happen because they've heard it. They've heard it from someone else. And I really wish this, and then people are get angry when their expectations aren't met because this unsubstantiated rumor isn't met. And so I'm really hoping that, and I know it's not going to happen, but I do hope that people start to sort of temper it and start to fact check things. Like, it's like, oh, it was in the data mine. Was it actually in the data mine? Can you prove it was? Because it wasn't. Or, oh, there were screenshots of it. No, there weren't. That's all I'm going to say at the topic. I could go on for
Yes.
longer, but I won't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's a problem we've been having on the Discord server or the Reddit Discord server that I run. I've been trying my best to like educate people, but they obviously don't listen to me.
You've been
And
doing
continue to
you've been
argue
doing
with
a
me.
great job. I cannot imagine being in your position.
yeah, running that server, that many people. Fuck, I
Yeah, I've
thought
done
like
worse, but
maybe a 16th of the size of yours.
I mean, look at we got a
There's
VIP
no
in training
reason.
here. You know, apparently the game is coming out in 2 hours. Just look at this guy. He's gone wild. He's insane.
Okay, that's Tarzan. But that's a bit different.
No,
He
no,
is a
no. Look,
known troll.
no,
He's a
no.
known
This is a
troll.
story.
Oh, okay.
I'm just making a joke here, but no, yeah, Tarzan's
I,
doing some weird stuff.
I'm
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it'll still come out in July. Like that's they said July. It's pretty. It sure nowadays it's common for a company to like renege on what they on their original promise of release date, but they were so
TPCI
vague with
usually
theirs
doesn't
for a
do that.
reason. And it's kind of like and it's kind of the same reason like they treated us pretty dirty between the Canadian beta and the Japanese stress test. Like there was nothing until what 3 days before the Japanese stress test
Yeah.
where they
Oh,
finally let
actually,
us know. No, actually, what? Like it was a little more, a little less.
so there was completely nothing on the marketing side. When the trailer came out after Pokemon Presents back in June 2020, there was literally nothing about Pokemon Unite until the Chinese beta, and then there was nothing again until the Canadian beta, and then nothing again until the stress test. And they didn't even have an
Exactly.
official account until after the stress test. So,
Exactly. And so when all these people are going off and getting on there theorizing about when it's coming out, it's like, sure, I have my own theories. Like as an older gamer, it's like my AAA games, all the games have always come out on Tuesdays. And so people are saying dates that are not Tuesdays to me, and I'm like, well, you're wrong. There's also the
yeah, I
fact
get
like
on to
like
people for.
So if I
go
say
on.
a Tuesday, you're just gonna agree with me?
It depends what Tuesday.
Coming out
Just
tomorrow.
here's my like everyone
No,
has their own
please don't take that out of
speculation.
context, chat.
You heard the man.
No.
Clip it.
I've become what
Clip
I
it.
sought to destroy. Oh my god. No, yeah, so I could oh, I lost my train of thought just like
Something with
Lunchbox.
I know
Tuesdays.
it happens, dude. It's a
Yeah, I think
Monday.
another
That's what
person
happens.
I want to. Sorry. I think another person I want to give out credit to is Sarabi. He's been doing a really good job at again suppressing misinformation and educating people on what leaks are, what data mines are, what rumors are. Because he's been doing it since like the beginning of time,
Oh yeah,
especially
Serby's
with
a
like Sword
MVP
and
on that.
Shield. Yeah,
He's always
I've
been
just
good
been
at that.
no. I kind of looked up to him and I do it myself. Like I want to educate people. That's my goal as a server owner is to educate people, be a role model, and not just like jump on the same boat with like those like people that post fake countdowns on YouTube and then get reprimanded, and then I get reprimanded for it, even though I just told them, hey, it's your choice. You have more power if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, I know. I agree. You should not be reprimanded for what's not necessarily something like that posted on your Discord server. It's in a media sharing thing. They're allowed to share it, and they're jumping the gun. I've always like
Yeah,
even at the beginning of the month, or it was like 2 days in, 3 days in, when the Japanese Twitter started revealing like the Pokemon highlight videos, and people started to count down. I'm like, stop right now, just stop. That's not how it's working. And they're like, "Oh,
okay,
what do you
well
mean?
actually,
That's how it's working." And it's like, but what other game have you ever heard of doing that in your existence? And then today they're out of Pokemon. Or they're not out of Pokemon. They just redo Alola Ninetales. Like, well, that right there puts a giant kink in all of you speculators' plans. Because look now it's a day later. What are you gonna? Did you think of that when you first started talking about? Oh man, this is the
I
Wait,
countdown.
wait, but what day of the week is today?
Monday.
So it couldn't have been
Monday.
today.
No,
So
It had
Lunch
to be
but they
tomorrow.
still have Cinderace.
Lunch, I completely agree with you, but unfortunately, I do have to counteract that specific point on Alolan Ninetales, because what happened there is that they released the trailer had the wrong spelling of Ninetales in the English version, and
Mhm.
so they took it down and they put up a different Pokemon. They put up the next Pokemon. They put up Gengar
Yeah.
instead. So they actually did keep to the schedule, but I can completely agree with you when you say people are setting themselves up assuming that this is a countdown of some sort.
Yeah,
yeah,
I see what you're
somebody
saying.
went full Karen on me over deleting the post about a countdown and then giveaway. So yeah, that's the fun. Hold on, let me show you real quick. I'm screen sharing.
We're familiar. I think everyone here knows who you're talking about.
No, I don't know it. I want to see it.
I guess we can see it.
Are you able to see it?
I just I
I'm
moved the
the
wrong.
admin for this Discord. You're talking to him, bro.
Here you go. Yeah, that was a bit wild.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think that's the. Yeah, I prefer not talking about that individual just because like I don't want to start drama or anything. I'm just showing an
Sure.
example of what misinformation can do.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Whenever I see someone ask what the release date is, my canned response that I answer every single time possible is it's coming out in July. That's all we know. Anyone who says something more specific is trying to sell you something.
Exactly. I agree with that. Like they didn't say anything, so there's no point in speculating. And honestly, if you're gonna speculate, even from what I've learned, like being in the organization I have, I've tried to ask the social media managers to relax on the speculation because it's like you're going to upset people like that. You're gonna set expectations, they're not gonna be met, and then they're just gonna leave because you're just a speculating piece of shit in their mind.
Yeah, so actually one of the opportunities I got in for running our Pokemon Masters is I know the community manager for DNA and the person that makes the Twitter post for Pokemon Masters, and if they were here, they would completely agree with you. Like you don't want to speculate and get people all excited up for nothing. You want to make it as neutral as possible, not hinting at anything, just posting the content out there, and basically that's it.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
Doesn't that just
I
happen with every game that ever releases in the past like 5 years?
yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
but
the
they've not been making it easy on us with this Twitter nonsense.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
I'm saying it's all on the fans, 100%. But doesn't like everyone make all these videos and all these different things that are all wrong about every game that releases? I don't think it's.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
at the end
haven't
of the day,
seen
it's
as
for
big of a
revenue.
it's not as big of a problem as I've seen in other games other than Pokemon apparently. Unless you got any other like infamous examples.
I don't know, it just feels
I
like
believe
every game I look at has it.
no, I
Well,
think Mewleon's right on that, and my theory to that is because it's Pokemon is a franchise, and people are
it's
coming
the largest
from
franchise in the world.
yeah, and so there's a lot of different players and a lot of people who are always excited for the newest actual Pokemon game to come out, and so you're going to have a lot of instances of people doing that for the crap because it's just the largest audience.
See, I was thinking that, or like before all this started, I was thinking about it. I'm like, what are people gonna do? Just in terms of content, because the game's not out yet. And I figured that because Pokemon has such great, not official stuff, but like, Cerebi, stuff like that, or like certain websites that are notorious for being realistic, that like this would never happen, but then it still did. Um, was I
Because
just a
most
fool for
people
thinking
don't
that? You know?
Cerebi isn't what your your average Pokemon player uses for information. From what I've come to learn, it's most people like who don't care competitively, because that's not your average player. Most people just use Bulbapedia and stuff like that, and listen to their stuff from like Polygon esports and Dexerto and stuff like that. Like they get it from gaming websites, and if they get other information like on the game, it's from not necessarily Cerebi, which it's like I to reiterate, it's like I'd like to give him the credit because it's like he does a really good job at what he does, and I've always used Cerebi personally over other sites because he he puts out information and just facts. He tries his best to quell any kind of rumors because he doesn't like people who like to fly off of rumors and get the views off that. They're not credible. They're just clickbaity.
See, I thought that I was the average person that you were describing, because like I would just casually play games, except for like New Snap where I would do high score stuff. But other than that, like if I'm playing through a game and I kind of want to know moves or something, I do look at those like only those two websites. So maybe just I'm not the average person I thought I was. I don't know.
You play a lot of games, my friend.
Yeah, but I'm not like that. I've never done anything competitively with Pokemon before.
Well, yeah. So,
I don't think you
this
need
is
to be
just my
competitive. Yeah.
this is just my opinion. Most Pokemon players just play the main game and do it a couple times maybe or whatever, but they don't care about competitive. They don't really care that much about movesets. They're generally, in my opinion, they're like not to insult the people who are adults playing, but most people are children. I'm an adult who plays Pokemon as well, so I'm not trying to insult those people, but your average
I could
Pokemon player
probably.
is usually a child.
I mean, I could agree to disagree. Well, no, agree but disagree. I actually, back 4 years ago, or actually 5 years ago now, I went to the regional tournament for the trading card for a trading card game at Dallas. I
Hmm.
currently live around Dallas at the moment. There weren't as many like people around my age group as you think. I think there was only
But
like
that's
I mean,
50 people in our age group that were in VGC, and maybe about like 110 in TCG, and then there's like 400, 500 people in VGC and TCG. But I'm pretty sure the audience is out there, so
but that's
yeah, but
that's competitive level
that's a
play though.
self-selected group of people who are going out to an event like that. That's not the
Yeah,
average. The person going to that
well, yeah,
event
but
isn't the average player.
yeah,
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 no, I think
but I agree. The average player base, yeah, the average player base is more casual, more kid leaning. I agree. So
it skews younger. And another thing, and this is a lot of true with the sort of the younger generation, than than a lot of us here, is that um a lot of your information, people, some of us were used to going to Cerebi, to Bulba, we're talking about that, but a lot of people these days just get their information through YouTube, especially if it's something that they're
That's
not
true.
as that
Yeah.
they don't care about as much, or as familiar with. And the thing about YouTube is the videos that get the most clicks and that get the most information are the ones that are just wild speculation. I don't want to name names, but
clickbaity.
that it's stuff that is clickbaity and stuff that is it's sensationalized, so that's
Yeah,
why a
yeah,
lot of this fake information flies around, is because I have to struggle with this as a creator as well. I need to
yeah,
weigh what is going to get views versus what is accurate information, and I always pride
yeah.
myself on not saying anything inaccurate, but I know that that's just not going to do as well. Whereas some other creator who, this is not my livelihood, likely, luckily, but for someone who this is their livelihood, for them it's much more important that they are going to put out some information that maybe isn't real, but people will click on.
I agree. I agree entirely. Like I'm not necessarily a video content creator, but I do write articles, and I once was asked to write a speculation on the release of Unite, and actually, like I did it. I told them I didn't want to do it, but I was unfortunately made to, and I was totally off. Everything was wrong, and it's like I told them. It's like I told the organization, it's like I don't want to be doing that again because that's not what I'm here for. It's like I want to actually release information to people that is credible, actual factual stuff that you need to know. Not I'm guessing when the release date's coming out, and it's like I'm personally waiting to write any form of article until the game comes out, and I have 3, 4, 5, 7, like you know what I mean, time into the game to actually come out with credible information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Epona. YouTube is just great. A lot of people around our age group, we love to hear commentary and visual. Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say, but like YouTube provides that visual appearance and commentary that makes it easier for us to comprehend rather than just reading articles. Which
Yeah.
is why I believe YouTube is most used rather than just text-based websites like Cerebi or Bulbapedia.
Yeah, that was
But I
Techno that
mean,
said
it's
that, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, entirely. I agree with that.
oh yeah,
Like,
sorry.
even I like to get my information sometimes. Depends on how deep I want to get into a game personally. Like, I'll go to YouTube and just grab general videos, or like, I'll try and take a deep dive into a game and read
And like
stuff about it
cross-reference.
properly. Yeah.
Uh,
Whereas,
Yeah.
like, I understand. So again, we're talking about the general player base of Unite here, and it's Pokemon games, and it's probably going to be kids on their Switches. Um, like I'm gonna say the majority, and that could only be like 40% of the players or 35% of the players. But that's the biggest group of them, and they're not going to be learning their information from this sort of thing, but they're going to be reading those clickbaity articles, and that's going to lead to like where we've been talking about like a dissent in the community between the like people speculating on a release date and everything, like they're going to get all the views and everything like that, whereas we understand like there's players out there who are like, we don't want to see that sort of crap.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the minority here, where I'm just not making any videos. Like I made a
Yes,
couple, but I feel like they're just trash because they're useless.
I mean, you do
I
stream every day though.
But yeah, but the stream is it's just a cam
the
on me.
stream
It's
is
literally
essentially,
useless.
yeah,
I
the
do
stream
8-hour
is you
streams of
waiting for
nothing.
it, bro. Dude, you might as well tag Timmy and Tencent and TPC and Nintendo and all them and just tag them in every video of you waiting for Unite.
I just sit there playing WoW. I
Yeah,
Let
just
them know.
wait.
I
One
don't play your games until you come out with Unite. Let's go, assholes.
Now, one point I actually would like to make while we are still on the subject of like YouTube and the content creation and sort of being factual, this is something of a personal choice of mine because there are some great Unite content creators out there already. I'm gonna shout out like Peak. We all know Peak, right? I mean, he does fantastic work on YouTube. But one of the things he does is he's doing character guides for characters, and as a personal choice, I'm choosing. I would also like to do character guides, and people who have seen my beginner's guide video are saying, hey, please do character guides. But I personally feel it would be disingenuous of me to make guides on specific characters before the game is out because really anything could change between the Japanese beta test and the full release. And a meta hasn't had time to develop, and there's so much stuff that we still potentially don't know. So I'm waiting for that, but that doesn't mean that good videos of that sort can't exist right now.
Yeah, I don't like
Here's
videos that do you should pick this move or I don't to a certain extent I don't even like videos that go over moves because nothing's finalized.
there's just
At this time, yeah.
I disagree with that for just one reason, not like a bunch of it, and it's that a stress test is basic. It's the closest thing to a finalized version.
Well, no, you
So
don't know
what
what
people
version
are
that could be.
saying,
That could be like 2 months
well,
old because they just have to change the game and like they're testing the server, but they're not necessarily testing anything about the game. Like, yeah, people said it was different than the Canada beta, but that one could have been months old too. So you don't really know what game you're actually playing on.
I agree, but it's the difference between where I come from. That is the difference between when they're releasing it versus when the beta is.
If
And
they said it was a beta test, I would be more likely to agree with that. But they said it was a server test.
well, that's where I come from. That is where the first time I ever got to play Overwatched, overhyped, overpriced was in the beta, and it came out. People can correct me, but I'm pretty sure like 2 weeks after the beta was released, and it was the same thing. I played the characters thinking I'm gonna get like a roster, maybe like 10 more characters added and everything. It was the same fucking game.
But that was an open beta. That was a free open beta
That's
to
a
everyone
stress,
because I played that one too.
but that's a stress test, effectively as
I
well.
thought they well, it's what they
They
label
sort of
it is what concerns me. I thought that was labeled as an open beta. Like, yes, it was a stress test,
agreed,
but it was an open beta.
but what do you think the purpose of an open beta 2 weeks before the release that didn't change was?
I
Because it was
just I don't think you
testing the
can
servers.
one to one
Yeah,
it.
Lunch, I don't
That's
think
all.
you're wrong necessarily, but I also don't know that you're right. Like I think it's still up in the air. You could be completely
Agreed.
correct, but who
Yeah,
knows,
no,
right?
yeah, and let me just back up a bit and say, like, it may have sounded like I was saying that, like, from a point of definitiveness, but again, I'm not saying that like confidently, like that's what's happening, but that's just my opinion on it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Um, but
Can
no,
I?
so I
Yeah, I want
believe,
to answer somebody in the. I want to answer somebody in MIT opponents chat. They said, "Would
yeah,
Nintendo really put this game out without any heads up?" The real unfortunate thing in the matter is that they have done this before with other Pokemon spin-off games. They have a direct or a presents or something, and they put a trailer and they say releasing after this presentation. So it's fully possible we will not get any news about the game until the day it is out.
Does anyone else love that? I actually like that a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I
I'm
love
the
a
kind.
trailer into play the game or play it tomorrow. I think it's so hype.
I would like to take time off work.
Yeah, I mean it
Yeah,
sucks for
and I
planning and
also don't
everything,
like
but
I don't like a tease and then not knowing when it's coming. Like that's just the past year has been really frustrating for me because I'm like, just at least give me a date, or like they gave me July and I was satisfied. You know what I mean? Like just give me a rough estimate, man. I can't live with this,
Well, then
especially
what happened?
not
You were
knowing
happy
when the
with
fuck
it.
it's coming. Yeah, I was happy with the July. Like when they said July, I'm like, cool, I like it. I don't care when it's coming out in July. I know it's not going to come out later than 31st, so that's basically the date I expect.
But that just
Um,
started this melting pot of all this baseless rumor and speculation, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
But that's the people. That's
uh,
not the company.
yeah, I'm also I get it, but like I say, I'm not the. You got to be a little smarter about it, man. You got to be a gamer. You got to know what these companies do to us. It's like you got to understand. Just because they said July doesn't mean anything other than July
July.
31st. July 31st. That's the latest they gave themselves to come out with it, and it's like I understand that maybe today, literally, they're about to come out with it, and they're like, oh fuck me, Alola Ninetales or like Mr. Mimes slapping 2 times as fast as he should be. Now we got to go back in the code and fix it, and that could take a couple days for all we know.
Yeah, that's why I'm
I don't
fine
know
with
how.
like August. Like I don't really care. As long as the game
Yeah,
is good,
honestly,
that's fine.
yeah, if they said August 5th, I'd be like, well, fuck it. You know what? Close enough to July.
Mewleon, do you have any just thoughts based off of a lot of knowledge about a lot of different games? Uh, you said that
Go on.
international is very controlling about certain things. Do you
Just
you
controlling
know?
about the projects they do in general, but I mean, I speculated for the release date to be like July 28th or something, because usually TPCI usually likes to release stuff at the end of the month. That's the pattern I've noticed. But I mean,
Okay.
there's not really enough evidence to my claim, so it could
Mm-hmm.
be any day, honestly.
How often? Because I don't know release dates. I kind of just play the games when they come out. Do they usually just say a month? Is that a normal thing that goes on?
For spin-offs, I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Spin-off, they usually just release it on the spot, or
I'm definitely more used to getting a specific date or a shadow drop. I can't say I've played too many games where they're just like, here's a huge release window of 31 days. That
Okay.
hasn't happened
So
So
too much as
Pokemon,
far as
no,
I
okay.
okay,
know.
no. So Pokemon Masters, in my case, Pokemon Masters was announced on May 2019, and they gave a release window for summer 2019, and it came out at the end of August.
Wow.
Yeah, when they give those like bigger ones, like a whole season, like spring 2019, I'm a little bit more used to that. I feel like July is that weird middle section where it's not quite specific enough to give a day, but it's also not so far out. Like with something like Pokemon Masters, it's a little bit more far out. Like if you just say summer, there's this large span of time it could be. Whereas I don't remember exactly the day they announced Unite, like the window, but I feel like it was like end of June. They said it's in July, and it's like if we're this close to the release, you feel like you'd probably have a little bit more information.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I guess,
Especially,
definitely don't expect anything soon. There's no. I mean, we already knew not to do that, right? But
Actually,
this kind of just, gives
Unite,
more of a belief for why to not think it's going to come out, tomorrow or this weekend or, something like that. Just keep your pants
yeah,
on, basically.
Unite was announced on June 17th.
To come out in July. So we're like halfway through June. We're talking about like a month, half a month away for a month release date. It seems a bit strange to me that you'd give a 10-day warning for a 30-day release window. Is it
yeah.
because it's like does that make sense? Like I totally
The
get where
only
you're
time
coming
they ever
from.
do,
Yeah.
the only time they do what you're saying, and like to reiterate what you're saying, is they like especially AAA game companies, they'll say, "Oh, it'll come out." Like for instance, right now they're saying like, "Oh, it'll come out spring 2022." Now, come December, we're going to get an actual release date of the month and the date. And then if they have to backtrack it, then they will, and they're going to take the repercussions for it. But companies will just tell you at a certain point within the due date of what they're saying when the game's coming out. Like
For for me, it's hard to make that
continue.
comparison because it is like a studio. It's not the AAA person themselves.
But at this point, you could arguably look at Timmy. They may be a studio, but we call AAA companies the big ones in North America. Do we call Tencent a AAA company? Not necessarily, but they're responsible for enough games and subsidizing enough games, just like someone like EA. It's the same thing. We just don't call them the same shit. I
That
believe
makes
Timmy
sense.
is definitely a AAA company.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
don't have
I'm
anything to add on.
no, please. I've been talking way too much. You please go first this
I
time.
know, Mewleon, you gotta talk, man.
Give us
You wanna
some random either Discord or Reddit lore. Give us something spicy, you know.
Give us good story off of that you've seen off the Reddit. No
So
names, nothing like that, but the spicy story.
so most of the people that are gonna play this game are gonna be from release, right? Like there's a few
Yep.
thousand people here and there in different places,
I mean,
but
we've already prepared for what's going to happen when the game comes out. We already had the full-on staff meeting about it just a couple of days ago. We're preparing two major waves: the Switch release and the mobile release. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some people that are going to use Switch emulators to play Unite 2. So
What kind of staff
there's
meeting? Like
definitely
for
going to
like
be an
what kind
audience.
of for like tournaments and stuff like that?
What do you mean tournament? Can you repeat the question?
I was saying like what like the because you guys are getting together to discuss the release, but for what reason? Like the amount of influx of players, or like you guys got a big
Influx.
event coming up?
For
Influx
like
basically.
moderation,
Yeah, moderation.
Mm.
because you're gonna start getting. Not that we don't already have it, but just start gonna get a lot more posts and a lot more posts that need to be removed.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. I can see
I mean,
that
this is
coming
going
in
to be
a
a new.
month.
I mean, honestly, as the owner, it's going to be a new challenge for me because I'm pretty sure this is going to be bigger than Pokemon Masters. And
Yeah,
the
I
Pokemon
do not
Masters
envy you.
Discord, the Pokemon
The other
Masters Discord has 21,000 members. I'm pretty sure this is going to have more than 21,000 members.
for sure.
Yeah,
And
no, I mean
especially
it's going to be a challenge because like you got to deal with more logistics and more people means the possibility of more trouble. But I honestly
Especially with MOBA players, am I right, guys? Those
whoa,
guys
whoa,
suck.
yeah.
whoa. I'm pretty cool. I'm
I'm also a MOBA player, therefore I'm
respectful.
allowed to say we
Yeah,
suck.
bro. I'm pretty sure we're all those chill MOBA players, which like you can't majority them in this chat, but like we all know the majority of MOBA players are fucking dicks.
I mean, I am one, but you just
Yeah,
don't know.
I can agree too. I'm a fucking dick, but
I mean, our conversation the other day, it was going off the rails apparently.
Yeah, I mean again, I never played a MOBA, so I wouldn't understand. I did play one round of League of Legends, and then I quit after that because I had no idea what I was doing, and then
So
Did you
everybody got
read
mad
the
because I had no
chat?
idea what I was doing.
so
Did you
basically,
read the chat
um,
Welcome to
during
the
that
MOBA
game?
experience.
so basically,
Yeah.
what'll happen in this game is that like if someone pisses someone else off, they'll just like run into their spawn, or they'll just start. They'll kill a bunch of Pokemon to get orbs, and then they'll just feed it to the other team. That's basically what I expect to happen in this game. If someone gets mad or whatnot, they're just gonna feed points. Because kills,
There,
like to a certain extent, don't matter. So who cares? It doesn't give them gold. But they're just gonna farm the jungle and then walk to the other side and die. Because then you
yeah,
also
bro,
don't
they
get
give
your jungle.
kills matter. You give up a bit of energy. They're just gonna keep
But
feeding
the
them energy and
points,
make sure
the
they're relevant.
points are better.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Not the energy. They give you point. You know when you kill a Pokemon, they
So
drop
like
points.
I mean, honest,
when you're Furion and
The
you want to
point.
feed, you just teleport 50 times into their well and you die from the tower at the well, right? You can't really
Yeah,
do that in this game because it doesn't give them money.
sure you can. Yeah, bro, you just fucking run it down. Give them the XP. Give them the kills.
But
Just
give them the
run it down every.
orbs. That's what they
Bro, I'm
want.
I mean,
dude.
when it
I've
comes to
watched.
teamwork-based games, if my teammates don't like carry their weight, I'm just gonna like say screw it and just do it on my own. Which might be hard in
Exactly.
Pokemon
See,
Unite, but I'm just gonna do it anyways.
see,
That's why
until
Talonflame is going to be OP, by the way.
but
Yeah,
see,
actually,
one
that's
day everyone's gonna run it down, and you're just gonna say fuck it, and you're gonna run it down with them. And you're just like, fuck it, they're not even surrendering. I can't carry these idiots. Like it happens in every game. Everyone goes through
I
them.
mean,
Even
ironically,
if
I'm not. I'm not
No,
much of a
trust.
teamwork person, honestly.
So basically, what's
When
going
it
to
comes
happen in
to
my games is I'm going to pick Eldegoss, and my Charmander is just going to run forward and sit inside their first tower and die. And then I'm going to
Yes.
tell him he's dumb, and then he's going to quit the game. And that's
Well, no,
basically.
I can't believe you would flame like that.
that's
We
League
look up
of
to you.
Legends. That's League of Legends, bro.
But why is
Just
he
because we
why is he
don't
sitting in their tower, man? What is going on? It's just-
Well, the difference is, see, here's where Mewleon's coming from. Don't be you. Don't call him shit so he quits. You just play better and be two people.
that's why I pick
You
Leaf
gotta
Tornado,
be his.
okay? Because they're not doing enough damage. I gotta pull the team, okay?
I mean,
Yeah,
like I don't give up easily. I'm just gonna just keep going until no.
Which class
Yeah,
do you
like
guys
just
think is going to be the best for solo carrying? I think it's probably going to be Speedster.
It's gotta be the speed.
which no.
It's all about them
I
balls. Get them in the dunk hoop.
what the hell does a speedster really have to do with that other than Talonflame? Because he
That's
has a
it.
bunch of
Talonflame is
jumps.
gonna be most picked.
Okay, I can tell you Talonflame backdooring me on a 5-stack has never fucking worked.
Either
It's
that or
not a
all rounder, I think.
I believe it. I believe it's personally a properly played Cinderace, Greninja, or Cramorant is going to lead the team. Um, as long as you just, if they die, they can't do anything. You need to kill them first. That's where it's going to be in like solo queue, low level play. High level play, it's all 5 of you. You all matter. You all need to pick the right thing. But in low level play, I tried to do the speedster thing, dude, and it gets to the point where they're just beating the crap out of your team, and you can try and backdoor them, but they show up anyways because they don't give a literal fuck about what your team's doing.
That's completely fair. You make a good point. I rescind my comment.
I'll just tell you right now, it's not gonna be Eldegoss. That's just not gonna fly.
No, but
Eldegoss
Eldegoss,
can't carry the game.
no, but with Paul and Puff, Eldegoss is a beautiful 2v1 fighter. You just gotta Paul and Puff yourself, and they take damage, and you heal every time. And it's stupid, my friend. I've seen it. I've watched, like, shout out to the guy's name, to the man. His name's Mikey. He changed his name to Mikey so everyone knew his name was Mikey on the Reddit Discord. He is probably the best Eldegoss player I've seen.
Whoa,
I've
whoa,
seen that
whoa,
guy.
whoa, whoa.
And I know, not to shit on you, my friend. You and I haven't played together, but Mikey literally told the Garchomp, which was JJ, to go top lane, heal 2v1 the guys in bottom lane.
Yeah, they're probably some
And he,
scrubs.
they
I
were
killed
scrubs,
people.
but yeah, they were scrubs at the same time. But it's like if you ever see a support do that, it's because he can throw a fucking bomb that explodes after 3 seconds that heals him and damages them. So he just put it on himself, and they went into melee range, and
I'm about to agree with Solonic here and just kick you.
Hey, to be fair, you never claimed to be the best Eldegoss trainer.
I am
just
the
that you're
best.
in El.
I
Oh,
will be
you
the
are?
best,
Okay.
and I currently am the best.
You claim to be the most aggressive, which
I
can't
am the most
argue.
aggressive, which I think is the best.
Well,
I'm telling you, my
Can't argue
tri-lane
that.
idea, it's gonna kick off, and I'm gonna run down their
Oh,
lanes, and they're gonna be scared.
Pona, that's for a later podcast, my friend.
So we
But
Pona.
I could tell you about this whole 3-lane thing. It,
You'll see it. No, the first tournament, tri-lane, easy game. They'll come to the podcast and they'll be like, "You were right. You know, should have listened all along. Why did I waste a couple weeks? Could have just done the
so
tri-lanes."
here's the thing: if you would have said that in Canadian beta, I would have laughed at you because the way the XP worked. Now they've reworked it a little bit, and it seems more viable. But the way funneling still works in this game, it's I I don't think it'll work.
Gotta
You
test it out.
need
So
once I believe once they come up with more like Techno was saying earlier with the different types of Pokemon that can come out like different archetypes, different ability, like you know what I mean, like different move sets and everything to fit different classes. That can be a more viable strategy. It's just that there's 19 Pokemon right now.
What's up, Mewleon?
so I'm about to. No, I was about to say I'm about to probably leave for the night. Is there anything else that y'all like to know about me, like the Discord server, my motivations, or
The
why I even run the
secrets.
Discord in the first place?
The secrets that you have in your head.
What secrets?
You got a lot of secrets.
I'm just a college student, so
But
I
you're
asked
the
this.
master of like 21,000 people, dude. You gotta have
Plus
secrets.
3,000.
My bad.
Nice. I asked this last time, but you weren't here, so I didn't get a chance to ask you, Mewleon. What Pokemon would you like to be in the game more than anything, if you had one pick?
That's a tough one.
Why ask it?
I need like a minute to think about that.
Okay.
Oh wait. Actually,
oh.
I got one. Obstagon.
Obstagoon? Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's a good one.
Defender Obstagoon?
Mm,
Or all
probably
rounder? What were
hybrid,
you
to be
thinking?
honest. All rounder.
All rounder? Okay, that works. That's cool. All right. That's my question.
Lunchbox.
Sorry, what was the question?
You get to ask him a
No,
question.
yeah.
I get to ask
Yeah,
you a
just ask me
question?
anything.
Lunchbox asked him how it felt to
Anything?
be a king of 2,300 people.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
it's like,
pretty humbling because, like, it's
here,
pretty humbling because, like, I wanted to run
what?
Pokemon communities because I want to get back to the Pokemon community because it gave me a place to fit in. I never really fit in at school due to conditions that I don't want to talk about on the stream right now. Like I never fit in school. I got bullied all the time. So, but there was one place that did accept me, which was the Pokemon community. Again, I used to play competitively in real life, and everybody that I met was great. I went to a Pokemon League at a comic shop every Fridays when I was
I
like
love it.
12, 13. Yeah. So, and then I became an active member of the Pokemon the our Pokemon Discord, and I've been there for quite a while. And then one day I just decided to start moderating communities, and that's what I did. I ran our Pokemon Masters ever since the game got announced, and I still run it today. Then Pokemon Unite came up, and I wanted the opportunity to run it as well because I wanted to challenge myself as a role model. Because I a lot of people look up to me because I'm just a deep down person. I don't want to be like those corrupt Discord admins that you hear about on YouTube. Um, I'm just I'm just a down to earth kind of person, and honestly, I wish more people just see that out of me. But instead, I just get kicked around all the time in life. I worked many service jobs as such, and yeah, it's quite soul draining. And school wasn't the best either. So it Discord moderation just gives me a sense of purpose. That's all there is to it. And I'm glad that I'm able to get back and get into a community that really deserves it.
Okay. Then
That's
I'll
all.
just go into my question. Where do you want to go with all this? If you like what you're doing now, do you still see something that you want to be doing that you aren't at to the level at yet, or something, or maybe it's not even created yet? What do you want to do in the future?
Took my question.
Well, actually, I'm currently an accountant major. I'm a junior actually, um, in business administration. So I mean, I'm probably just gonna stick to it. But Pokemon will always be a part of me. That's really all there is to it.
Well, that brings me
What
to
kind of
another
accounting?
question, actually. Okay,
I
yeah.
haven't really decided yet. My major is just simply under quote unquote business administration of accounting.
Okay. Well, I'm an accountant, so if you ever need help, just feel free to ask me questions.
Yeah,
I got one more question for Mewleon.
Mhm.
yeah.
With that in mind, like, because he asked what you want to do with what you're doing, but what do you want to do with the Reddit Discord? Like, what do you what like what's your plan with that? What do you want it to become? What do you want to do with it? Like, let the audience know.
I just want to keep it the way it is because I think I just want to create a welcoming community where everybody's welcomed. Because I think that's my primary goal, just to make a community where everyone is welcomed, just
Just
like
like
me back
that,
then.
or do you want like a purpose for it?
A purpose for it. Well, again, make a community where everyone's welcomed. We also been trying to plan out like getting other servers of international communities to kind of like partner with us so that we can unite everybody within the community, no matter where you're at. Besides just like where we're at right now, but yeah, I just don't really have a general idea. I've just been going along with my logo, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, man, for sure. And still, like, even though nobody can see me, I was nodding my head the whole time. It's like I love that idea. Just like the general hub where people can get together, communicate about Pokemon Go and
Yeah,
everything,
that's
regardless of
basically
what
it.
they want to do. Yeah, man, I got what you were saying from what exactly what you had said.
Yeah, yeah. Again,
Random.
like my yeah, I'd like to get like my just like my goal is to just like recreate like a social media spot on Discord where again like everybody's welcomed. I want to get back to what I got in as a child because again I never fit in. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people, especially within the Discord platform, that feel the same way. So I want to be able to prevent that. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, my friend. I agree with that entirely. I know exactly what you're saying. You just want a community that actually gets together. There's not like it's, some communities are rife with fucking issues and everything, and that's just up to the owner really to moderate that. I get where you're going at with that.
Do you think that
So
I'm
yeah,
doing that
that's
with this, or is there things I could improve on still? Oh,
on the podcast.
Honestly,
because that's what
I
I'm
was
trying
gonna
to do with
say,
this is bring everybody from different stuff. That there was like a million people last time, but I was trying to get all different people. Is that kind of good, or is there still something that I'm missing out on pretty big about just getting a bunch of different people together? Because I'm
you
not
and
I
really
him
a
think you're
have
doing
an
podcast
fine
person.
actually.
you and him have an entirely different platforms of doing that. To be honest, one can be judged in one way, and one can be judged in a different way, in my opinion. Um, And to be honest, as for Unite, can we really be sure of who's really coming together over it? And you are trying an experimental format, and mad props to you, my man. It's like you're trying to get out there the same way Mewleon is. Fortunately, he's using an already established sort of premise with the Reddit and everything, but it's like to be like that's not to take away from you, my friend. Like you're still doing a ton of work doing what you're doing. It's just two different ways of the amount of like
Okay.
of work.
Yeah, and then whoever said earlier that the owner is like responsible for how the community is outlooked, I
Hmm.
completely agree with that. I think one of my main goals is
Hmm.
to make sure like everybody, including like the staff team and the community, we all get along. That's also another primary goal of mine is just to make sure everybody's a part of the community, no one's singled out or anything. Um, like give it a month. Like I always encourage them to be out with the community, don't just do staff chats, but just be out in the community, talk to everybody, even get to know yourself because at the end of the day we're all part of the community too. So I'm a
Yeah,
part of this
Yep.
community just like you.
yeah, it definitely seems like all the mods, the VIPs, the mods in training. I don't remember if that's real or not. And the VIPs in training. It seems like everybody talks a lot, so that's nice. Because they could just not talk, and then you feel like there's some like secret stuff going on in the back, but it's not like that.
Um, the VIP thing that's just nitro boosters. There's really nothing special to it.
Oh,
I
well
have a,
then,
I have
screw
a
them.
feeling.
They have money.
I, Actually, if we're talking about roles, I wanted to ask you, Mewleon, how do you decide who's industry and who's not?
Role modelship basically.
Okay.
But we take it case by case. Like Velicify used to be a industry, but recently we voted to remove him due to role modelship problems.
Okay.
Because
I was
I
even
think
gonna mention that.
industry people should reflect well on the community and not just like constantly argue with people for little reasons.
Sure.
Like
No, of course,
I
of course.
respect no, I respect Velicify sometimes. Like some of his
Yep.
content may be questionable, but I respect him as a person. Like he has his own thoughts and opinions, and he's been more constructive lately. So I don't really have any qualms with him. It's just impartiality and how they reflect the community as a whole.
Okay. Yeah,
How it
I
looked from
was.
me, my perspective was just kind of at that time how he was what's the word? Conversing with the
Oh,
other members of the Discord.
Yeah,
It's just kind
I've
of
I
noticed
don't
that.
think it's really
that's
worth getting into that
honestly
here.
from
Yeah, it's
no,
not
not
worth
at
getting
all.
into.
No,
Yeah, I
not
was.
at all. And it's just that's kind of where I've even understood. Like, sorry to interrupt again, but it's like as my perspective from an outsider, it's like that's how I've seen the entire staff from this Discord, or from the Reddit Discord, like handle things. Is just kind of like he is like Mewleon said, like case by case basis.
And
And
impartial, being impartial. Like we don't care if we don't care if people like a huge like name brand content creator, we treat everybody normally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
literally
was
what it
mainly
looked like.
asking
It looked
because
like a
I was
guy.
wondering.
Yep. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
main
shut up now.
reason I was asking, I didn't necessarily want to bring the Verlisify example up, more so that because you say that they're like they're role models, but I'm also, the server role also, denotes that it is someone who works directly or related to the game title. So I'm just interested what that entails. Like,
I
obviously, you
don't even
also want to
know.
be a good role model, but what does that entail?
Seems like it's just famous, good person.
But he just said that it doesn't have to be about fame. That it's not all about big creators, right?
Well, I don't even know what industry. Okay, so here's another lore of the Reddit server. I wasn't the original owner. There was another owner before me, but then
Okay.
they transferred ownership to me because apparently they got in the the RSSB use Discord server. But that's like a whole nother like drama
Okay.
for another day that I won't discuss.
So it's sort of a
Drama.
vestige. It's sort of a vestige role.
Yeah,
Okay, I understand. Yeah,
yeah. I don't
I
even
was
know
just
what.
wondering how, like you see somebody with that role, what does that exactly denote? But okay, that clears it up a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even know what industry role is. I didn't make it, so
So
please
just
That's
give it to
don't go off
everybody.
of it.
Mewleon. Oh no, it sounds like at this point it's just up to his discretion. It's whatever you feel in industry, or and honestly, not even your discretion if you take it the same way. You like for instance, removing someone's status, you could just say you can ask the staff what does an industry role mean,
I mean,
and they
honestly, I
seem
might
like
just remove
all
it
fair
one day
people.
because I
No,
might
go
just
ahead.
remove it one day because like there's really no point to it. I don't think I don't think like content creators and whatnot should be above other people. But I mean, the only person that has industry is ARB right now, and we all
Sorry,
know
yeah,
why.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that makes sense because he runs the site, and also, Lunchbox, you were mentioning how you write, articles and stuff. So I think that could potentially, that's potentially an industry professional. But yeah, I mean, I was just
I
wondering
could
how
see
that
it
works.
being removed, and because it could
Yeah.
cause a lot of issue. I could see that happening.
No,
Where
I
it's like,
agree.
if you're borderline and you're just like, well, I don't have a
I'm not
cool
telling
title or
Mewleon how to
something.
run a server. I was just
No, no,
curious
yeah.
what it was.
I'm just saying,
Oh
if
no
he
no
wants to
no
remove
no
it,
no!
it
I
definitely
respect
makes
it.
sense. Like, if he doesn't even
I agree.
understand it, you can
No, I'm
keep it. I
glad
don't
that you
care.
spoke
I don't
about.
care.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned your opinion about the industry role. I'm just like still a bit confused on it personally, but
Well, like
that's
at the
something.
end of the day, it comes to philosophy. Like, what the hell does a role mean? Like,
Yeah.
just give them a different, pretty colored name to make them seem different than everyone else. Like, it does it really mean anything?
That's what I really like about this server, unlike a lot of the other ones, is that the name
Mhm.
color is mainly based on which character you said you're going to roll. So like you can't look at a color and be like, "Oh, this is an important person," because it's all mainly based on who people are playing. You see pink, you see brown, you see green. It doesn't say like I'm better than you. It just says I'm maining Venusaur, which, well, don't do that, but you
Unless
know.
they're orange.
Well, okay. But yeah, I mean, I think the idea stands that everybody's equal for the most part,
Yeah,
and
no,
the
obviously.
color doesn't mean that. The color is a designation of who you like to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of how your server works. Like, honestly, like, of course, you have to differentiate like the staff from the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
like,
you.
what is an industry, or an analyst even like to even consider me an industry. It's like, who the fuck am I? I write articles based on my opinion. Like, who am I to tell anyone off because my name's a different color than theirs?
Can I
Other
be
than
industry for cosplay? Because I might be the first cosplayer. I'm not sure, but
uh,
I think anybody who's ever cosplayed Pokemon is technically cosplaying Pokemon Unite too.
look at this.
that's
I
why you
agree.
need
That's
the
pretty good.
pineapple Snorlax.
This is a skin. You know.
But so, anyways, no.
Did you say you have to
No,
go?
I'm
By the
just
way, I don't
gonna.
want to keep you longer
Yeah,
than you
I was gonna say
wanna be here or something. Mewleon?
no.
Oh, sorry, my AirPods ran out of batteries. Can you repeat that?
Um, before you said you had to go, so I didn't want to keep you on if
Nah,
you.
you're fine.
Okay. Because we do have one question, which actually is very good, that I just kind of forgot. Um, cool kid J22 is asking, y'all think the in-game money found is gonna be fair to free-to-play people? Because right, that
No,
is a potential
No,
issue of paying to scale
no.
your items faster.
Yep.
Do you think that is like really bad, or do you think that's fine?
I don't think the item thing
Um,
is going to be a problem, but I think that the weekly limit on coins is going to be really annoying for free to plays.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
But how
hope
do
they
you
either
scale a
increase it or
game,
remove it.
right? Without that.
what kind of free to? It depends, in my opinion, on what kind of free to play
Probably
you are as
through
well.
in-game events and custom missions or whatnot.
They had
So I
like
know that
achievements and things. At least I
Um,
thought I was collecting stuff from
the-
achievements.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what if you run out of achievements?
To
The
me,
problem.
I'm okay with that as long as everyone's on the same playing field. Like, maybe I can't have everything on release. I'm somewhat okay with that. You know, League has that, which I kind of don't like. But then Dota has every hero, which I really do like. But for something like this, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again. I feel like it's
Well,
not
the
the end of the
issue,
world. Maybe.
Mewleon might be able to relate to this because of the Pokemon Masters thing. I'm not. I didn't play too much after they reworked it, so I can't say exactly. But one big problem with mobile games and a lot of the Pokemon mobile spin-offs is that, and this is just a tactic that companies use. When the game comes out, there's going to be a ton of missions. There's going to be events. They're going to shower you the first like week or two with lots of money. You're going to be able to buy whatever you want, and then they're going to cut it off and they're going to give you a drip feed and they're going to
Oh,
say,
actually,
okay,
I'm gonna be frank with you. Pokemon Master sucks at that.
okay, that's exactly my point. Is they start out, they give you this taste of this power that you could have, all these coins you could have, and then they turn off the faucet and they give you this little drip. Oh, you get 2,000 coins a week now. If you want more than that, if you want this feeling that we already got you addicted to in the first 2 weeks, you're gonna need to pay up. And every mobile game does this. And unfortunately, I know Unite's going to be the same way. When we start out, we're all going to have tons of coins. We're going to be able to buy any character we want. And then a month or two down the line, it's just going to be like, okay, well, if I want Wigglytuff, I'm going to need to grind out 4 weeks worth of games to get it because I'm limited in coins I can get. Or I can spend money.
Can
Yeah,
we
so
just for people that don't know, define gotcha?
so gotcha is basically a a monetization type where you basically
You get
I mean
it's random pulls. You pay for pulls and you don't know what you're gonna get, and the it's like loot boxes in a way.
yeah, it's loot boxes basically. You're guaranteed to get something, but it depends on the worth of value.
Yeah.
So basically, like you have a higher chance of getting something that's not worth in value in comparison to something that's worth as much in value or to the meta.
And to respond to the question from Solonic, how to fake death and not pay taxes. When you figure it out, DM me, alright? Thanks.
I mean, you can do it. You just can't show yourself. You know.
Can't play Pokemon Unite if I fake my death and not pay taxes. Damn it! I want to play.
Well, no, you just got
United.
to be a new person. You have to make a new identity.
Change my hair color.
Just think 1 grand into the game first day easy.
No, so yeah, like oh, I'm stepping on things.
one of my issues with the monetization of being able to power up your items is that's going to lead to the kind of like back in early seasons of League when
The runes.
yeah, you shouldn't, you could be level 30, but you can't play ranked because
Mhm.
you need 1 or 2 rune pages. Because if you don't get your main, then what the hell are your runes worth? Or in Pokemon Go or Pokemon Unite's example, what are your held items worth?
For what it's
Nothing.
worth, Lunch, I'm not entirely against keeping people out of ranked for a little bit longer. I don't really want people opening up the game for the first time and going into ranked.
Yeah,
Well,
I like having a little
people,
bit of a buffer there.
but then you are
people are
gonna
gonna
have
do that
players
anyway.
like I am.
I don't think you
I'm gonna
stop
get
that.
yeah, I'm going to probably myself. I'm probably going to get an advantage over players because I'll pay for the second rune set. I'll get the first one free because we know they're going to give us the resources for it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll just pay for the second and go into ranked because I can now play 2 different.
Sure, yeah. I don't think it's as bad here just because the items do get most of their effect by level 10, which isn't too hard to reach. So I think it won't be too bad, luckily. But
Yeah, so my thought process was I'm just gonna try not to buy anything in general, and
I'm buying
see how the
skins.
games go. And if yeah, like I'm not gonna buy any skins because I don't like the Eldegoss one very much.
I'm wailing for skins. I won't buy anything else, but any cosmetics, I'm down for that.
Well, it's like I'm gonna save all the money until like maybe if I lose a couple games in a row, maybe then I'll go upgrade an item or something. See if it, because it's like a gamble. If like should I upgrade this item, or any of the other ones? So I'm just gonna kind of hold off, take some losses. Maybe have worse items than the other people, but I feel like I'm good enough where it might not matter too much. I can just still roll them at least in the beginning. Maybe the first week or 2 weeks. You might just destroy people because they're all noobs, so it doesn't matter. And then as people start doing math, start figuring out like, okay, I should really get this item now that I have the items I want, and maybe the couple Pokemon that I want. I'm not going to get all of them, but I'll get a couple, get those items. Then I'll buy some skins with the extra. I'm a very reserved, non-spender guy in general, so it's probably the total opposite approach of anybody else. But that's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna do.
as far as I go as a casual player who probably won't play much ranked, all my coins are going to go into unlocking new characters because that's much more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And
Like,
Mewleon?
I'm just gonna go free to play. But if
Okay.
I'm like invested enough in the game, I'm just gonna start buying skins, especially for mains.
Yeah,
I think I'm
Because I
gonna get
love
the
them.
battle pass, and that's it. I might not even get the
I
battle
was,
pass, but I think I might.
I was, you should. I was gonna say you probably will be one of those guys, but now you're saying I might. But it's like
Why
you
me?
should because, well, because you say free to play, right? And so if you make that one-time investment, you can generally from a battle pass, you can take out the premium currency you'll get from the battle pass and use that for your next one. And from that point, you just get so it's like paying
I thought most
what is
battle
it?
passes, they don't give you like money currency. I thought they
yeah,
like
no, they
Fortnite
do.
does that, right? Where you can like get the next battle pass with the old one or something. But I thought that was like the only game that does that, if they still do it.
Not from what I remember when I bought the Rocket League one, I bought it only because like I only buy the battle passes in games because they do allow you if you get high enough, you will get the currency back to pay for the next one. And so it's kind of like a one-time investment for a free-to-play game, in my opinion. I understand there's people who are just like, well, fuck that, I'm not gonna pay for a free-to-play game anyways. But especially for free-to-play players, I would recommend that because honestly, the developers put the money into the game and everything. Gotta give them a one-time payment, even if it's $10,
Dude,
to
look at all the
make
exposure I'm
your
giving them
work
right
out of it,
now. Exposure.
right? Exactly.
That's money. No, like I think I only bought like one of the Dota 2 battle passes because I had Steam wallet funds and I just wanted to use them up. Cause I did like some weird CS:GO service where people would just pay me in like Steam items. And
Well, I only recommend it if you're gonna play the game, like put the hours in, right? Like you gotta get to level, you gotta finish the battle pass almost to get the um rewards back so that you can pay for the next. So
maybe
only
this
if
is a
you're
strange
investing the
take,
time.
but I don't think anyone really knows how long they're going to play this game. If it's like a week, if it's forever. I feel like nobody can really know, and a lot of people are hyping it up, and maybe this happens with every game, I don't know. But they're hyping it up like they're going to, play this game for like 5 years. Where it's like a lot of the people are going to be like, "Oh, it's a MOBA." And be like, "I don't like this."
Yeah, I'd say saying something like that, like "Oh, I'm gonna play it for 5 years," that's ambitious, man. Whereas if you just want to do it for, you're like, man, I'm gonna grind the literal crap out of it for the first year, maybe. That's a little more of a reasonable thing to say.
Mhm. Yeah, what's up, Joe, by
But
the
like,
way? Thanks for the raid. I like
so when it
Joe's
comes to like,
videos.
I can see purchasing things like that for a free to play player. Um, I can also like, I'll just do the whole because I am the odd one out in this, where I said, I'd pay for the currency to level up my items, and it's just because I'll justify it because it's like I'm one of those guys who I've been explained where why would you pay $10 for a chocolate bar you can get in a month for free? Yeah, I'm that
Wait,
asshole
what?
who,
How are
yeah,
you getting chocolate bars for free?
yeah. So if you wait long enough for your in-game currency, because it may be a slow process, but if you wait long enough, you don't pay for it. It's free. Whereas
Mhm.
I'm that impatient kind of asshole who it's like, no, I want it now. I don't care. I
It's a
want
bit.
it now.
You're in a bit of a different situation though, where for you the ranked situation is like the most important part of the game for you. So I totally see why it makes sense in your case, where that's the thing with the most value to you is
Yeah.
getting those
And
high ranked items immediately. Whereas for someone like me, and I think someone like Mewleon, I'm not entirely sure. For us, that's the ranked experience is less important than the casual experience of enjoying the game, and so we're looking more at like the characters and less at the items to start with.
oh I totally agree with that. And it's like
I
even the
mean,
same premise, it's like if they didn't give me all the currency that I could afford every Pokemon and then some other stuff in the Canadian beta, it's like there was plenty of times I'm just like, man, I'm feeding this Pokemon for like to try it, and it's like, fortunately, I had the currency to do it. But I can see that being like that is also just a huge part of the player base, and like even as a competitive player, you could call me, um, I still wanted to do that, and it's yeah, I can see prioritizing characters over the items and everything, but I
yeah,
also believe that's where that idea of don't pay the money for a chocolate bar you can have in a week or a month for free. Like put the games in and you'll be rewarded if you really like it that much.
yeah. So I think what was mentioned in the beginning of the podcast is how most of the fan base is mainly casual players and not competitive players. I'm pretty sure Pokemon Unite will have a lot of like casual play rather than competitive. I'm pretty sure like even some of the casual players would dip into rank for a bit, but then we'll have like a stopping ceiling. Like, oh, I'm satisfied with the Great League. I'm satisfied with the Ultra League. But then there'll be players that will go much further into it. So
I agree with you entirely. I agree, not entirely, but I agree with you. One
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
pretty
thing
know
sure.
about
where
that
where
though.
I come
I
from
don't
is
know.
I come from an also like an organizational standpoint. And it's like I'm here to fire and hype up the competitive scene, not necessarily esports. I personally have my doubts because of TPC and TPCI the way they run
Feel
things,
that.
but I'm here for to hype up amateurish tournaments and everything, and that comes into play with the casual players who do like the idea of playing competitively on the occasion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the casual players too would mainly go for like buying all the new Pokemon and seeing their favorite
Oh yeah,
Pokemon get used rather than
oh
held
yeah,
items. Well, I
oh
mean,
We
it
yeah.
just depends
know.
on the player, honestly.
Do we know how big the free rotation is? Is it 5?
I have never even, I don't even remember the free rotation from the Canadian beta. I just remember it's like by the end of 7 days through events and stuff, which also came through in the same like they were there in the Japanese stress test. It's like by the end of 7 days and doing all your tutorials and everything, you've got at least 45% or at least or like about half the roster, if not a little bit less.
All right. Well, anyways, I think I'll be on my way now.
It
It
was
was
great
nice.
speaking to you, Emilion.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
man.
you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming
thank you
on.
for letting me. Yeah, thank you for letting me participate in this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm usually not like a great speaker, but
No, you did
I think
great.
I've
That
gone
No,
was
the
yeah,
lovely.
longest
You had a
today.
lot of great points. Thanks so much.
yeah. You should definitely be on the podcast more often.
Yeah, if I find time. I'm just
Just a human.
Yeah, man. We all are.
Well, yeah, thanks for sharing your time with us today.
no problem. I gotta go watch chats now before people start revolting about how the game is supposed to release at midnight.
Oh my lord.
Have
No,
a good
like
one, my
legit,
man.
no, legit. Check out the channels. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I've tried my best to help you, my friend, as just a random usual player to be like, calm down, people. Like it's not coming out, but most of luck to you.
all right.
Um,
Good luck with the rest of your podcast.
thanks. It's only gonna be a little bit, nothing too long.
Have a great
All right. Have a good night.
See ya. So I just gotta move all the names and stuff. I mean that is kind of, I don't really know what else there is to talk about unless you guys have ideas. It was like two
Yeah,
and a half hours, but if you have any
I
like
know.
things you want to talk about,
Yeah, I got something to fire your viewers up for the next time. You there, I know some people who you can have on who are not me who take over the conversation. Who there's other topics about the way the game has changed in terms of items and stuff like that, the way the general game is played and everything. Um, and they should definitely be looking forward to that sort of thing.
Cool. Yeah.
With this game, it's given the uncertainty of the release date, it's fully possible, but that by the next time this comes around, the game will be out, and it's also just as likely that the game won't be out at that time. So, bit touch and go still.
Yeah, I know that I have something to do this weekend, and I'm not gonna like rush some sort of like Thursday cast. Um, so anything that does happen will probably just be next week. Which will give me some time to think about stuff and see what to do for the next cast. Um, yeah. So, any
Yeah.
last remarks? I guess you guys want to make here
I
about
guess if I
anything?
can plug, yeah, if I could plug my
Yeah.
Discord server and
Sure.
website again, that's the stadiumgaming.gg. We are one of the resources for. We're trying to become one of the resources for all things Pokemon. We're starting into. We started with Pokemon Go. We've been getting into VGC, TCG, Unite, and looking in to get into Pokken. One of the things I would like to plug is that we are looking for players for something like TCG and lists and stuff like that, and with the VGC, people to come up with articles and whatnot, potentially like other media forms as well. You can also join our Discord. It's linked in the Reddit Discord's affiliates channel. I'm not going to expect Epona to directly link this, but you can find our website through there. We work together with the largest, basically the ultimate database that is known to the Unite players through JJ Kuhn. It's directly linked to our website and everything, so you've got all the information for Unite. And also join us because we do plan on hosting some of the first tournaments throughout, like upon release and everything. We're talking like if it releases on the Wednesday, expect the first tournament on the Saturday. Get your teams together and everything, join the Discord up, and we will be hosting them in appropriate formats and everything through the Discord. Yeah, that's basically all I got to plug about the organization.
Cool. Techno, you want to chat yourself
Uh,
out? Whatever you
sure,
have
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, so I mean, I can just start with a shout out. If you enjoyed any of the bullshit I had to say tonight, you can check me out at Technovoid. It's spelled the exact same way on YouTube. I also stream mostly on Fridays, but mainly if you want my hot and cold and lukewarm takes, YouTube and my Discord are the best place to find me. One final thing that I do, and I mentioned this a couple times throughout, but I really just want to hammer it home for anybody in the chat right now. For the sake of Mewleon and for the sake of all of us, really, I get that you're super excited about this game coming out, and every morning you wake up and it's like, is the game going to be out today or not? But please try and keep the speculation down for the sake of everybody, because spreading misinformation is not helpful for anybody because it raises expectations unfairly, which is hard on Timmy when, every day each one of their Twitter posts just have a bunch of people angry about how the game was supposed to come out, even though there was no reason it should have. It makes Mewleon's life harder with moderating. It makes Epona, Lunchbox, my life harder, and all of your other. Just be a good community member, hype responsibly. And I just wanted to end with that.
Yeah, I
I
also
love that,
just
my man.
like looking at Twitter posts that have useful comments, but none of these ones do anymore, which
I'm
is kind of
sorry. You
sad.
said you said Twitter posts and useful comments.
I like
Do those
tweets that
exist?
have nice replies. Is that the right phrase?
Okay, because you did say useful, and I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
No, I mean I don't know. I feel like they could be like, "Yo, this." So like, I actually do cool
I'm just dunking
comments,
on Twitter.
and
I just enjoy dunking on Twitter.
I try to make
Of
unique
course.
replies, and I say like, "Wow, this is so cool! Oh my goodness, oh, I can't wait for the game." Like something positive instead of just like a picture and like there's like a picture of Unite and there's an X through it or something that just says like game not released. I don't know. That doesn't make me very happy. I like looking at happy replies. Is that too much to
Yeah.
ask for?
Yeah, Cool Kid is just saying it feels unusual that Nintendo hasn't given a release date. I wish this was unusual, but this is not that uncommon for them, especially for these sorts of spin-off games. Um,
Yeah, it's not even Nintendo themselves that's
yeah,
responsible for announcing this.
yeah. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I don't think this is a matter of they're trying to kill the game before it's out. I think it's just no one really cares. No one's really gotten their ass in gear in getting stuff out. I mean, look at our US Twitter guy. On July 4th, he got drunk or something and didn't post for 3 days.
No, that they fired the janitor. So
They fired the janitor. Okay, yeah, because the intern Kun was kind of went on a siesta for a while and didn't
yeah,
post anything, and everyone was up in arms. So just yeah, please just hype responsibly. The game will be out this month. The fact that they announced it on, as Mewleon was saying, June 17th, that it was going to be out in July, they wouldn't have said it that late into June and given this release window if it was going to come out in August. So we know it's going to come out this month. At worst, that's like 2.5 weeks. That's not that long. We can wait another 2.5 weeks. Hype responsibly.
cool. Um, yeah, with that, I guess I'll just shout myself out. I'm streaming twitch.tv/MIT_Apona. Same thing for YouTube. Don't look at my Twitter. It's not great. Um,
Instagram.
I don't think I have an Instagram.
Follow me
Damn,
on
make one.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
LinkedIn, bro.
I don't want people to know who I really am. I told people my name's Ross, and you could probably figure out who I am from that. But please don't, because I have a life and I would like to retain a life. I have to get a job at some point. Um,
You're getting doxxed, bro. You just said Ross. It's over.
well, that's been on my Steam account forever. And I get added by bots all day because I got some good TF2 stuff still. Um, yeah, it's a bit rough.
One last question for you, Puna. How are your legs doing? You've been standing up for 3 hours.
I'm fine. It's my back. So I used to
Okay.
play Pokemon. This is why I'm moving. I can't stop. I used to play Pokemon Go for like 6 hours at a time. So like nonstop, and I'm just used to it.
Shut up. And you never got to play the fucking PvP.
I play PvP.
No, you don't.
What are you talking
PvP
about?
literally. I play PvP literally just enough to get like the Mienfoo or the Scraggy or whatever they put in at rank 7, and then I don't play again.
Oh, that's so worth and so like, dude, don't sweat. I used to sweat getting the master rank, and I'm like, it's just too RNG based. It's worse than fucking Hearthstone at this point.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see someone losing Go battles, you can always check out the Reddit Discord. Lunchbox is there, and
Hey, you can get over that because all of my sets tonight that were on stream were positive. So get out of here.
maybe. Oh yeah,
Only tonight.
I didn't see a lot of
Last
stuff
night,
today. Yeah,
no,
you had some golden
last night was
Pokemon.
crap.
Oh no, you had a Swablu
Yeah,
Evolution.
remember the
Altaria.
name.
Yeah, you had golden.
Oh,
You had a shiny Altaria you were fighting with. I guess is that the meta?
yeah, bro.
Yeah, Altaria is really good in Great League.
Yeah. If I can tell you their techno, I was playing in Mewleon lead with Mandibuzz and Altaria in the back. Mandibuzz generally to pull out their flying counter or a Azumarill, and then Altaria just sweeps the rest of the meta when
Yeah,
there's no counter to it.
when I was trying to get the Mienfoo, I was running what was it, Altaria, Azumarill, and I was running Registeel as a third because Registeel used to be pretty good, and I was not getting anywhere. And then I switched out that
Yeah.
Registeel for Galarian Stunfisk, and suddenly I was just going 5-0 every single set.
Oh my god, you learned what happened when fucking Stunfisk came out, and then he
Stunfisk
just
just took
he
over.
replaced Registeel because he
It
beats
really did,
Registeel and other things. And
and other
honestly,
things. It's
you are
ridiculous.
literally playing the most meta team I've ever heard. Not ever heard, but that's literally the meta team. Is
Yeah,
Galarian
I just
Stunfisk,
want the
Azumarill,
Mienfoo, man.
Altaria.
I just fill the decks and go. That's all I care
I don't
about.
blame you at all, man. Why not just play the highest win rate Pokemon to get where you need to go, and then that's it.
And then stop, and then other people can have their fun again once I have my dex entry.
Those people that you're probably playing though, they're not having fun at my ranks.
Nope.
They're way below, dude. Those are those guys. Cause it's like at that point, if you're not excelling right away, you're one of the casuals who's probably playing stuff like Flareon and crap.
I guess actually, Ipona, if you don't mind, one more shout out on my end. I
Sure.
mentioned this at the beginning. I run a double battle draft league on my Discord. If you are interested, we run it on Pokemon Showdown. We're currently in the off season right now. We're doing an event called Team Breakers where you can steal Pokemon from other players. Season 4 will be happening probably towards the end of the year or early 2022. We might run another like gym leader challenge or something before then. But it's a lot of fun. We have a really great community. So if you're interested in all, feel free to DM me on Discord. You can find me in any of the Unite Discords and just bother me from there. And I'd love to get you hooked up because we have a really great community in Draft League.
I'm
Cool.
fucking joining that. That sounds
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna end it here. It's a good
Sounds good.
Yeah,
time.
man.
It was
Yep,
like
I'll be heading out.
close to 3 hours, a little bit under. So that was, half the time of the other one. That's a progress, right?
We're getting there.
Yep.
Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks
Heck
both of you
yeah.
for coming on. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, I
Sure did.
did absolutely, and I'll be posting you, hopefully hyping you up in other places, my man.
Cool. Thank you.
You have a good one.
You too.
You have a good one. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, cool. So now it's just me. So yeah, thanks to anybody that came by. Obviously this is the onesie, the Snorlax cosplay, first cosplay of Pokemon Unite potentially. I got the inner tube and everything. It's basically like a pineapple, right? If you guys liked the podcast, go check out the first one too. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitch as a VOD. Like on either platform, subscribe on either platform. If you got a Twitch Prime, you can give me a sub. It'll just allow me to put money towards these kinds of things. Like I said, I'll probably be getting a job because obviously this isn't gonna be a full-time job. So yeah, the podcast, like I said, there won't be one this weekend because I already had plans from a long time ago to do. And it's probably good not to spam them out anyway before release. So the game might come out before the next podcast, and we'll see what happens then and what kind of stream I'm gonna run, what kind of podcast. But if it hasn't come out yet, I'll just have to think of another idea and invite some more guests, and we'll see how it goes. So thank you to everybody who came by. I hope you have a good night. Thank you very much.